Yo, we're here with a crazy edition of Weekend at Effy's. The man himself, Rob Shit, is in the house. WeekendAtEffys.com. If you want early access to these things, you would get early access to this interview if you're on WeekendAtEffys.com. YouTube.com/@WeekendAtEffys. And Rob Shit, where can people find you? Because they're about to go on a journey with us that covers a lot of bases, and they're going to want to follow up with you now to get on top of it.
You can check me out on the Instagram at Rob_shit. It's as simple as that, baby.
Let's go. Find Rob Shit on Instagram and buckle up. We're going down a trail of trains and wonder and mystery and fighting and bands and crust and Europe and Budapest. It's Weekend at Effy's.
Ba-boom.
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. All right, we got to get a Polaroid together.
Yeah.
Okay, you just struck the nerve of all nerves right there. Do we have a cool song? We do not have a cool song. We have been told by many people we need a cool song. I have not made any further contribution to the song, and we've even kind of put the someone help us with the song. But I hate podcast songs. I really do. Every time I hear them, I want to fast forward. And I know it's there, and then they use it as a bumper. And so when I hear it, all I'm hearing is you're not going to hear your show for a while. You know what I mean? Even if it's 10 seconds. So, but maybe I realize everyone asks this, and it's some of what's been working for me really well lately is the fact that I go, oh, these things that you fought against in a punk rock way, some of them are helpful, like in calling a match or in whatever. There's some things that are standard to whatever you're doing. Isn't it's like the Robert Frost path less taken? There's some things you take the regular path on.
Sure.
And I need to just have a podcast song. I need a podcast
it can even
song.
be as simple as just the Effy show.
Effy show.
Just like keyboard, some synthesizer.
Yeah, you were giving me Muppets there, though, so that felt good. Hold on. Okay, so we're here with the legendary Rob Shit. Is that how I should introduce you? That's how I know you.
Yeah, dude.
I think that's
great.
As far as, because everybody nowadays with the internet has kind of an alter ego or an alter name, but this has been a wonderful name for you, I think.
Yeah, it was cast upon me at a young age,
Cast upon you?
Yeah. I didn't introduce myself as, hey, I'm Rob Shit. I was like, that's kind of.
I thought it was biggest guy in the yard kind of thing where you're if they think I'm shit, I'm gonna be excellent. That was my prison character that was going out in the yard to lay the law.
Well, you get part of the crusty punk rock scene. Is this rolling right now?
Oh, we're rolling.
Oh, we're rolling.
Okay, we're
yeah.
rolling.
Yeah.
I love just getting right in there. Old Marin tricks. Well, that's what I was gonna ask too. Is I don't want to be hey, pro wrestler Rob Shit, because to me you're so much more things than that, and I really find that the wrestlers I vibe with the most and want to hang out with outside of wrestling the most are wrestlers who are wrestling is so sick, what a cool thing, I have many loves in my life, I have many things I've done, I have many things I enjoy, and this is something I'm doing and I'm having fun, but also I'm more than, you wouldn't just be a pro wrestler to me.
Right. Well, this whole Rob Shit name thing that came. Everybody's kind of finding their own in the punk rock scene in Philadelphia, 2002, 2003. We got a dude named Danthrax. We got a guy named Virus. I'm and then I was kind of trying to force it, I guess. I was like, oh, what's my name? Asking. I'm not going to give my own name, but I'm trying to, boys, what are you going to call me? And they're like, I don't fucking know. And they're like, you're right, I don't even care anymore. But when you stop caring, that's when it happens.
That's when they bring it to you.
So pretty much, I had an apartment up on South Street, and got really drunk, arguing with my girlfriend. We're all partying, drinking on the stoop. And then I don't remember what happened, but I climbed up a tree and I fell out of the tree and I started rolling in dog shit.
No.
And then my girlfriend at the time.
You didn't know the dog shit was there, though.
No, I didn't know the dog shit was there. But it's, it's Philly. There's dog shit everywhere.
Yeah.
So I fall out of the tree. I'm rolling around in dog shit, covered in dog shit. And my girlfriend's like, you're wearing my belt. She doesn't care I have dog shit on me.
Yeah.
That's probably why it didn't work out. She doesn't care I have dog shit on me. So I was like, oh, I do? So I just take off my pants and I throw the belt at her. And I got no pants on. I already had no shirt on. So then my neighbor comes outside.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, real nice. I was like, oh, shit, my neighbor. What do I do? So I just took off running. So I'm running down the street. And I'm like, oh, there's a party 2 blocks away at another punk rock house. So I run into the party naked. And I go downstairs where my buddy is, But before, I'm sorry. Hold on, let me cut you off here.
Fully naked?
Fully naked.
Okay.
I'm running down the street, and dude, a cop car comes right next to me. So I look over, and the cop is like, "This is disgusting." You know, he's like, "Put some clothes on." And as I'm looking at him, I hit one of those little blockers to stop cars from hitting.
Yep.
And I tumble right over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like someone did a kitchen sink to me.
Yeah.
Boom! I flip
Head
onto the ground.
over ass, literally.
I'm rolling around on the ground, and I'm holding my wrist. And he's like, "You're disgusting," and just drives off. So I bust into the house that they're having.
He just left you out there. He was like, "This is not."
Yeah,
worth
he's like, "I don't even
dealing
want to
with
touch
tonight. I'm not writing this paperwork. You're not stinking up my car."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're like, "This
Old
guy."
dog
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, exactly. So fucking, I eat shit. I'm holding my wrist. I'm like, rolling on the ground, tears in my eyes, and he just drives away. I was like, "So, continue the mission. I'm not going back to the apartment.
Right.
That's already."
Yeah. You already showed off there.
Yeah. I already did my finish. So fucking, I go into the party.
Yeah.
And all my, all the crusties are there, the freight train riders and the punk rockers and the runaways and the convicts. And I go downstairs with my buddies down there, and he's fornicating with his girlfriend. And I'm knocking on the door. I'm like, let me in. And then I just bust in, and he's in the act, and he's like, dude, give me a minute. I was like, all right. I wait a minute. I go in. I was like, yo, my wrist is messed up. I need medical attention. I don't know why I thought the dude Anthrax would be medical attention,
but you were holding your wrist.
I'm holding my wrist like So he fucking. I sit on his bed. His girlfriend's got the sheet over her. He's sitting there with just his boxers, and then he's like, we're gonna fix this. I was like, I just need so they give me a brace. He actually had a brace laying around, so I put the brace on, and then I was like, well, we're gonna tie it with. So he grabs a condom, and I'm like, I'm gonna tie it up around my wrist, and then so I'm stretching it out, and I'm blowing up, and it pops out of my hand and hits the ceiling.
Yep.
Drops on the ground. So what do? I go pick up the condom. I go blow it up, and what do I see inside? I picked up the wrong condom. It was a used condom, and once I saw that, I was like, what the fuck? And it exploded.
Okay, and then they were like, you're Rob shit,
and then they're like, you're Rob shit. Because there was a band called The Meat Shits, which is a really horrible, offensive band.
Yeah.
But we listened to. We would just blast it to piss people off. Like out on our street and stuff like that. And the guy's name was Rob Shit from this band called The Meat Shits. So my buddy was kind of like,
you're the real Rob Shit now.
Exactly.
It's sort of like, did you see Joker 2?
No.
At Joker 2 at the end, the loser Joker, played by Joaquin Phoenix, gets stabbed by who we're assumed to believe is the real Joker that looks more like Heath Ledger. And you're the real Joker, but the real Rob Shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you were like,
exactly.
I'm not dealing with you anymore.
And this happens where a nickname gets stowed upon someone, and then someone comes and does it better. You know what I'm saying? Nikki Sixx, dude, from Motley Crue. There was a Nikki Sixx in another band before that.
And he said, I think I can do this bit better than you. It's kind of like Alabama Doink in wrestling, where you're like, if I can take over the character and get it over.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so we're here in Atlanta, Georgia, which is the only place where I do Weekend at Effy's. And I think that keeps it to where, you've got to come into my world a little bit. But I think I've come into your world a few times. But you've been to Atlanta before.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think this is a good place to start? About, I hate you up. We were talking about doing this, and you're going to come to NWA with me tomorrow. You're doing some NWA stuff. We're on the same path. But getting you in here, you were like, there may still be some things going on in Atlanta with me from my previous times here. I want to talk about riding the trains and how you ended up in Atlanta back in the day.
All right. So around 2007, I rode freight trains from Philadelphia.
Yeah. Do you think people could still ride freight trains?
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Yeah.
But
they're like posting it and like making money off. There's like OnlyFans chicks riding freight trains. And they're like, help me pay for some beer tonight, and getting money.
And just like hanging a tit
out.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Case? Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It's awesome.
Yeah. They're panhandling at a rate that I could never imagine.
I'm like not even into camping anymore. Like I feel like as I've gotten older, like there's certain luxuries I expect, and I know it makes me kind of like a baby. Do you think there's a time limit on how long you're willing to stay on the train? I mean, obviously you're not there anymore.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it eventually got like, hey, well, that's when I segued into touring in a band. I was like, fellas, we can stay at people's houses.
We can
Girls
ride
might
in cars
sleep with
to
us.
the next place. Yeah.
And we might get fed. So why don't we get off the freight trains, get in a van, and actually play some
And
shitty
they have
music?
showers and toilets.
Those are under concern.
Well, okay, all right. Showers and toilets. You know,
Yeah, no, I'm
into
all
them
about
now.
those now. Oh, as
You have to go through just being like a wild.
yeah.
I like to think of like this as like the punk rock version of Plato or whoever. It's either Plato or Socrates. We can get a correction. Who said like to not know the limits of your human form as a person, to not know like what it feels like to get strong, what it feels like to get beat up, what it feels like to like be able to survive on a freight train.
Sure, I want to see.
I
Yeah, I
want
want
to know that version of yourself.
How long can I go without showering? Which is weird. It was almost comforting when I wouldn't shower for months on end.
Do you think
I
the
don't know
body
why.
like replicates? Do you think wearing deodorant makes you stinkier from a train background?
Well, it just smells like shit mixed with deodorant.
Okay.
So back in the day, that was.
But I'm saying like you don't think it neutralizes out if you stop for a while and stop showering, like the microplastics come out of you a little bit, or do you think you're taking on more microplastics?
Oh no,
you're in a train.
Yeah, you're almost purifying yourself. You know.
Yeah, that's what I was
Like,
thinking.
everything's
It's like,
going out, nothing's coming in.
Okay, well if the smell that gets masked up every day by the thing, I don't know. There's sometimes where I'm at wrestling shows and I have not showered that day and I've wrestled and I've been at the merch table and they hug me and they're like, "You smell so good," and I'm like, "I think that's like devil pheromones."
Yeah.
Like I think there's something about that that's a little scandalous.
I'm big on etiquette. Obviously, we're in a profession where you're in, skin on skin with another person.
Yeah.
And I want to show respect and not smell like shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not a punk rock band anymore. I want to be I'm the first one to find a shower at venues. I'm the first
There's
one. I
nice
shower
ones
before.
if you look sometimes.
I shower before my match and I shower after.
Both. I'm
If
really
there's a
big
shower,
on
yeah.
brushing my teeth before a match.
Sure.
Because I don't want to
Sure.
get out there calling a match with you and we're face to face and I'm like, oh. But
yeah,
I don't judge anyone else for not doing
little
it.
chunk of shit in your mouth you don't know
Yeah.
about.
I'm not saying I would change it. Like, I'm so mature now that if somebody stinks in the ring, I'm like, you know what? Maybe they've had some difficulty and I'm very forgiving, but I also don't try as hard if you stink bad in the ring. Where like, maybe if you smell good, if I pick you up and you smell good, I'm probably going to take your like spike DDT as crazy as I can.
Sure,
But if
love
I
it.
start smelling your knee pads, I'm like, I'm just going to take the move. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, in and out. Get me
I
out
don't
of
want to
here.
reward this type of behavior.
If I smell you on me afterwards, I'm gonna be a little irritated. I'm gonna have to say something.
Yeah,
bro.
Or
brother,
if when
brother,
you open your
we're-
bag
yeah.
in the locker room, and every time I'm in the locker room, I have to just like smell your stinky knees.
Who's not airing their bag out though? I don't get that.
I think there's a lot of kids who like wrestle once and then don't take their bag out of their car.
I was about to say that. I associate with the smellier your gear is, the less you probably wrestle.
less you probably wrestle.
I don't
Yeah.
be a dick. But like, cause you're not concerned about the first thing I do, I get out of the match, I air my shit out. Next thing I get in the
Yeah.
car, I'm like, hey, sorry fellas, I'm loading the dashboard up with my fucking air with my pads.
Yeah.
And I consistently keep it fresh.
a lot of these hotels have laundries you can access without key cards too. Like you can
yeah.
go to like a La Quinta with a laundry and you can get in there and do your laundry and pay.
Oh, if there's a will, there's a way, my friend.
I did a match one time with Stan Styles, the king of cream. It doesn't matter. All my gear was covered in whipped cream, and I had to wrestle Cardona the
dude.
next day. And I was like, I have to find it's midnight. I have to find a laundry because Cardona was not going to wrestle me.
Sure.
If I smelled like old cream. You know what I mean? Like there was no forgiveness level from him that was going to allow that.
Yeah.
What? So, I mean, you're out playing with bands. You're riding on the roads.
Oh yeah. Before that, you asked about my first time here.
Yeah.
You want to circle back down on that?
Yeah, I want to circle to that right
All
now. We have there's no rush to get to anything, and we'll circle back. And sometimes Peter will pull us back into where we need to be.
Yeah.
I want to hear.
I want
what
to talk
happened.
more about in-ring etiquette because
You like
we've
that?
never talked about.
We've
like,
never
the
talked about
hygiene
in-ring etiquette.
or like just like what it is to be a professional, like the professional part of the professional
Yeah.
wrestler
All right.
when meeting someone in the ring.
We're on the Effy show, and here's the 3 rules you need if you're going to be a professional wrestler and not smell like shit.
Yeah. Here's
First
the
one
three
is-
rules. First one is when you spit in your hand. If I don't know you, you don't have to actually spit in your hand to do your chop or your slap or whatever you're gonna do. Like you'll be chopping with a guy,
Yeah.
and then in the end, it's like, and then they do the last big mean one.
Yeah.
If you don't if you're Manders, I'm not going to tell that guy not to do whatever he's doing. And like spit in my mouth, Steve Manders is a popular opinion on Twitter right now. I would not turn that down. But if you don't know me and you do that, you can fake the spit being in your hand with like sweat off of you
Hey,
a little bit.
if we're not faking punches, I lay them in. But if we're holding back on the punches,
Okay.
hold back on the spit.
Here's what I found. I'm very much, and I think you're of the same way of, because you've been in some fights in real life anyway. My thing is I'm going to match what you give me, right? I'm going to match what you give me. And if you want to go a little hard, like, awesome, let's go. But I have found out from people, if you talk to them, they'll be like, there are certain things Effy is extremely stiff on. Those things are like, if you fuck up and I get you over, if I club down on your back, I will put a pulse through you that will set you back on track. And so it's just like, there's the etiquette that isn't necessarily hygiene, but it's just sort of like, I'll let you do some crazy ass shit to me. We got to discuss it beforehand. This is starting to just sound like a kink rule system, which I think it is. Which is like, wash your fucking latex.
Yeah.
Make sure the swing is hung with extra care.
Yeah. But yeah, etiquette for not smelling like shit in the ring.
Yeah.
Air out your stuff, boys.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Alcohol wipes on your body. I also think about, there's certain rings I work in where I make sure I get some kind of disinfectant wipe or some kind of swab wipe down because I don't want staph. And especially if we're doing fights and this. And the thing is, okay, well, let's say I clean my body and let's say I do something else. And this guy's putting on his stuff. I don't know where that's going to attach in the ring. I don't know where it's going to go. Just having disinfectant spray or Lysol cans to sweep your ring out and then spray over it. Yeah. They're not doing that all the time. They should be doing that all the time. Yeah. But I'm going to make sure I'm not carrying anything around extra. Like you said, with airing things out, with doing this, like dry that bacteria out, run that thing through the dryer, clean it in the bathtub.
It's part of the job. Yeah. It's not. It goes with the territory if you're going to.
Yeah, think about Motley Crue. They've got road cases where they can just wear their outfit on stage, and then they have people that are cleaning their outfits up, making sure they're stored properly, making sure they're clean every day. And it's like, if we're going to be Motley Crue, we got to make sure the gear we're showing up with isn't going to be like gross to the fan base.
Well, then you know about the spaghetti incident, right?
What's the spaghetti
incident? The whole album called the Spaghetti Incident.
Well, I know there's an album called the Spaghetti Incident, but it's...
So Motley Crue did a thing who could not shower the longest and hook up with girls, and who could not shower the longest, and girls would still sleep with them. And one girl vomited spaghetti all over his private parts. I don't
Isn't
remember which
that a
one
Guns N' Roses album?
Yeah, but it was with Motley Crue and Guns. Oh, it was Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses. I could
We're
be
having
incorrect.
the contest.
We're having it correct. Yeah, I could be messed up on this information. I think it was the both of them. Shit, I might need to get fact checked on that.
No. We can fact check on that. And we also, I want you to know, much like wrestling, we can make up anything we want here, and you can go with it. I started a rumor that Ronnie Radke was dead.
I don't know who that is.
And see,
he's been dead to me my whole life.
Okay. Etiquette, I think what you'll find is you're either going to keep getting booked or not. And if you don't show up clean and ready to go, you're done. Yeah. But there was a time where you were not clean or ready to go. Well, you were ready to go. You win. I'm circling back to it. We'll think about more hygiene. Any hygiene tips you think of on the way? We're going to delt it back in.
Do you want the real spaghetti story?
Yeah. We want the true spaghetti story.
Okay. It's not as good as what you said.
Maybe we'll just keep
We don't want the real spaghetti story.
We want the real
story. No, we're going to edit this all up, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can hear it, but I think we removed this part from the show entirely.
Okay, so Steven Adler of Guns N' Roses was temporarily staying in an apartment in Chicago. He stored his drugs in a refrigerator next to the band's takeout containers, which contained Italian food. It was explained that his code word for his stash was spaghetti. In his lawsuit against this band, Adler's lawyer asked the band to tell us about the spaghetti incident, which the band found amusing and used as the title of the album. So this is just like we're suing each other at this point.
I think they covered it up. I think the real story, we're not even going to acknowledge that story. That's a fake story.
Yeah. Then maybe I'm getting these stories confused, but Motley Crue definitely did a no shower contest. Or maybe it was going to run, but I'm pretty sure it's Motley Crue did a no shower contest. And a girl vomited on their private parts. That's how stinky they got.
Women need to know better. I was tweeting today about like women. You got to find out 5 things about a woman before you ask her to have sex.
Sure.
And I said that rule doesn't apply for gay guys because I don't respect men.
Okay, Motley Crue once had a bet to see who could go the longest without bathing or showering and not have a groupie bail out of sex. It lasted 2 months.
Whoa.
Holy
Until
God.
finally a young fan performing a sex act on Six became violently ill on him. It later became known as the spaghetti incident because the unfortunate groupie has eaten pasta beforehand.
Wait, read the last 2 sentences again.
The last 2 sentences. Until finally a young fan performing a sex act on Six, Nikki Sixx, became violently ill on him. It later became known as the spaghetti incident because the unfortunate groupie had eaten pasta beforehand.
Wow.
I knew it.
Wow. I want you. This is. I'm gonna get esoteric for a minute, but like, what? I don't want to get to the point where it takes that much to get my rocks going. Of like, not just that I'm having sex with groupies every night and doing the most drugs anyone's ever done, but that I now have to make it horribly disgusting all the time in my regular life, to where what's getting me going is, how gross am I?
Yeah.
I want to see you. Okay, wait. But that didn't always disgust you, did it?
Who, me?
Yeah. What did you see on those trains?
Oh, with the trains. Dude, I've ridden them by myself. I've ridden them with groups of people. I've got a lot of stories. I mean,
there's a Rob Reiner film called Stand By Me where they
Right,
go
yeah.
down to the trains to find a dead body.
yeah. Never seen a dead body.
Not out on the train.
But I do know people that have, I know somebody that threw somebody in their sleeping bag off of a train.
What? Do
Yeah.
you think they lived it?
All right, so here I got a little story for you.
Oh, my gosh.
So my buddy, actually, who was a squatter and a train rider, got me into wrestling. He cleaned up his life, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Whoa, dude, you're wrestling? Get me into it." He showed me the ropes. We lived in a van together in Venice before. That's when
Yeah.
I first started my journey of wrestling, and I wasn't on this particular trip, but him and his buddy were riding freight trains, and they with their my buddy's girlfriend. So this hobo, you just happen to meet hobos at the yard sometimes.
Is
that are
that,
hopping
am I
out.
allowed to say that, or is it like you earned the right? Like, aren't we supposed to call them the unhoused now? But a hobo specifically is a train riding.
I don't know what unhoused is. I know what
person.
hobos are. Hobos
Okay.
are dudes that travel around panhandling, drinking booze. They're
Yeah.
not looking for work. That's like
No, they're just looking to keep the vibes rolling along.
they're
baby.
just yeah.
It's pretty good out here. Check out the fields of beautiful grasses.
Yeah. They'd be insulted if you called them not a hobo. They'd be like,
They're
unhoused.
proud
Like,
ho-
I know
proud
I'm
hobos.
not fucking housed. I ain't looking for a fucking house. I'm looking for a fucking
I'm
good
a
time.
hobo.
Yeah, I'm
Does
fucking,
it stand for something? Hobo.
Okay, well, don't stop the podcast while I look it up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Keep
just
going.
Okay, so
Well,
you're
I'm
out.
like, I'm fucking interested now.
They're out there on this trip. And
Oh yeah, so they're taking now. This is so they're out on the trip. The hobo starts partying with them. He goes, all right, we'll all roll together. They're in the boxcar.
Yeah.
your traditional standard boxcar.
Yeah, just with a big sliding door
Everybody's
that's heavy.
sleeping, right? The dude that they ran into went and put his hand down the girl's shirt while she was sleeping. She wakes up
and that breaks
screaming,
the code of the
"Hey!"
trains.
Wakes up her boyfriend and her friend. Yo, he put his hand on my shirt. So he gets back in his sleeping bag like, I don't know. Like
Yeah, like,
pretending
oh, what are you
I'm sleeping.
talking about?
So they were like, no fucking way. They're like, well, what do we do? We're riding on we're going 50 miles an hour down the road, chugging along with this, offender in our thing. So they just grabbed him in his sleeping bag.
Wow.
See you later, pal.
The rules of the train sound like more like my version of fascism that I would be really into, which is just like, did you break someone's consent?
Yeah.
We're throwing you off
Yeah.
the train.
What are we gonna do? Hang out and talk about it? Fuck
Yeah,
no, dude.
hang
We're
out.
gonna fucking no.
You
There's- and then so
You
so
don't have, like,
fucking
restraints?
So a year or two later, I'm in Colton, California, right, waiting for a train. I meet this guy Oklahoma, this guy Bobcat, and then some other fool. Oklahoma is talking to me, and he pulls his shirt off while we're drinking, and his collarbone is sunken in, and I'm like, huh, what is that from? And he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, I owed somebody $20. I didn't have the money, so they threw me off the train in my fart sack. And I thought in my head, that's funny. How often do you run into someone where they grab someone in their sleeping bag and
threw 'em
chuck
off-
them off
yeah.
a train?
For
It's not a big
$20?
community. So I'm thinking that was the guy.
It had to be. And it's,
Oklahoma,
listen,
if you're out there,
Oklahoma,
You got some
you better
explaining to
leave
do.
those women alone,
You better leave
or
those
we're gonna
women
sink in your other collarbone.
Oh my! It was gnarly, bro.
Like he definitely was permanently disfigured if that was him over
Oh,
this.
dude,
that's better than the case I expected, which is just like I'm imagining them going over like a river with them big, tall, like old timey trains and just
Yeah.
off the side of the cliff, you know, kind of.
Yeah.
So, and this guy got you into well, we don't know if I'm going to say at the beginning of this show when we do the intro, I'm going to talk about how none of this is true or legally provable. I don't want to get this guy in trouble, but it seems like Oklahoma needs to be put in his own kind of punishment.
This is a comedy podcast.
This is a comedy podcast of wrestling kayfabe. Like we're all doing this in character.
Yeah.
I was told that by a detective. It's all in character.
No,
We're
for
in
sure. I
character.
mean, I'm a compulsive liar. That's why I'm a pro wrestler.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
It is strange to be to start your entire business as like the whole thing is a lie, and then we're surprised when like dudes sneak in that we're like, I don't know if this guy was a good person, and you're like, oh, you mean Shadow Edge? You mean the Shadow Edge warrior? Like it's all just like so fake from the start that like, yeah, you run into people where you're like, oh yeah, that guy's not up to good stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's in every community everywhere. You run into people.
The quiet ones, the ones who point the finger the most, are usually the biggest offenders, whatever they're trying to call people out.
Yeah,
on.
you
That's
think
what
they're
I've
trying
noticed.
to sneak one by.
Oh, yeah,
because
they're-
I'm never during my like if something happened to me, I would be like, we should tell some people what's going on. But it's like if other people they know that other people are going to keep it, and they look for other things that are going to be noticeable to keep the trail off them.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah, look over here.
Yeah.
While I'm
this is
doing
crazy.
this over here.
Yeah.
It's just that's what I've noticed from the punk rock scene, the freight trader. I've seen the wrestling scene, all the motorcycle scene, the micro scenes I've been a part of. But the freight train riding, I started doing that in 2007. I rode my first freight train in the wintertime with two other guys, 2 dogs, 2 guys.
Was that a decision or
Yeah, it was like
hey, all we can do now is ride the trains?
it was. We had a squat house we were living at. It was the
Yeah.
wintertime. I was like, this sucks. And in my mind, I was like, I hadn't really been down south ever. I was 21 years old.
And it's
I was
not
like,
cold.
it must be warm in Virginia. So I was like, let's ride down to
Well-
Virginia. Well, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So we fucking sitting in the yard, we slept one night, wake up, wait till the other night, and dude, it was like a movie, man. This caboose painted yellow and blue, I'll never forget it, comes rolling by, and it's a junk train. Junk train is a combination of all different kind of trains. You got grainers, boxcars, 48s, buckets.
What's the longest train?
Well, the size of the train is
Doesn't have anything.
It can
do
be
with
it can be fucking, I don't know, a quarter of a mile long, half a mile long, but
Whoa.
but each train car is usually generally the same size.
Yeah.
So
But
the-
you're
and then-
saying like that's a huge train.
Yeah, but the I don't know, 20 feet long. You know what I'm saying? You see them ride by them. So we're sitting in the yard, 2 dogs, 3 dudes, freezing our balls off. Train comes along, starts slowing down. We're in Philly. People told us what yard to go to, how to get out, where to hang out. And I'm like, I guess we're going for it. The other 2 guys have never really ridden a freight train either. And I'm running, and the caboose, the stairs are literally 6 inches from the ground. So it was going literally like 5 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And I got on, I threw my dog on, my bag on. I was holding on to and then I threw my buddy's dog on, and then we all jumped on. And I was like, that was fucking easy, dude. This is not that hard.
Yeah,
and I was like, where are we going? I don't know where the fuck we're stopping. So we stopped in Baltimore, got off there, partied for a little bit, and then rode out, then hung out in the yard, got picked up, got drunk, then rode out to Cumberland, Maryland, and then slept out there for like 3 or 4 days, and then rode back to Baltimore, and then I got giardia because I drank out of a stream. So I was
Like a
shitting and
river
pissing.
stream.
So I was shitting and pissing myself for like 2 days,
That's not fun.
and then we rode a train back up north. So it was like I rode.
Did you drink
4
out of a stream ever again after
No,
that?
I never drank out of a
Yeah,
stream
it's
ever
crazy.
again.
Right?
It was like
Have you seen the life straws that you can just
yeah.
just suck anything? You can
There's
suck
probably
up-
something dead like that I drank this stream. I was so thirsty, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you needed the water. So you get to Virginia too. It's not warm. I've been like in Richmond, Virginia.
No, I never made
somewhere-
it to Virginia.
You
I
never
just
went.
I went to not that run, but
Yeah.
there's I've been
Okay,
to
so this isn't
Virginia.
the ultimate. You went back on it and said this is a thing you can do.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I think I got this.
It's kind of like a cruise ship for the land, you know?
Yeah.
Just like, where are we going? A few different islands? Let's go check it out. Well, especially you're 21. Like, that's a time of, like, explore anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Where, like, you can make some choices when you're 21 and get out of, kind of
Yeah.
anything.
And then So once I knew it was possible, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna do that more often.
Yeah.
I need to get all drunk and do a bunch of drugs and then be like, I gotta get out of town. And just sometimes I'd walk to the yard by myself.
See what trains are coming through.
Yeah, just see what trains, see where they're heading, because they literally follow the highways. So the 95, so they goes to every big city, but sometimes at the yards they split off to other places.
Yeah.
So we used to have a thing called a crew change. It was a zine that this guy Train Doc would make, and he'd hand out them, and people would make copies. And then before you know it, it would literally be like, all right, go to Savannah, go to the 7-Eleven on this street, go behind the 7-Eleven. It would tell you the little trail. There'll be a little hobo camp right there.
Dang.
You'll see and then if it's going west, you're headed to this town. If it's going east, you're headed to this town. I mean, they only go 2 ways.
Like guides, like
yeah,
train guides. That's incredible.
Yeah, so I had train guides, and I would make copies of them and hand them out to people.
Yeah, because if other people want to get in there, because you don't have, I
don't want other people to get in there because you don't blow up the spot. There's a lot of dummies out there, but I definitely would make it hand it to my friend, like
if
good
you
homies.
met someone and was out there. Yeah. What's the So I mean, did you travel all over on this? Was this a long?
From every state, from Maine to New Orleans. I mean to Louisiana. Wow. I rode through every train, all different, for 8 years. So I'd be like, hey, I'm going down to Richmond. Hey, I'm going down to New Orleans, and I would.
You don't ever get an itch for that anymore, because it seems like it would get kind of addicting to just jump out and want to get on somewhere and be like, who knows where I'm going to end, and then like. Landing in New Orleans, I can't imagine landing. Well, I can't imagine, but like landing in New Orleans and being like, now I'm here. I rode this train. Let's go see what New Orleans gives us, because it always is going to end with something crazy. There's no way it doesn't end with some fun or excitement.
The whole point in my mind was I wanted to find out where the shows were so I can have my band, because I had a band at the time, and where we go to play shows. Where's the scene? What's happening? Where's the venue?
How do I get on the ground?
How do I get on? Feet to the ground, eyes wide open, seeing what the fuck is out there.
I think a lot of people in wrestling miss how smart that is too. I'm not saying like get on a train so you can go to towns where you're, but I'm saying like knowing the space you're going into, knowing the town's stuff, like knowing what they're. Like, you could be hitting up all the wrong venues if you don't know a guy who knows a guy who goes, no, this is where you want to do this show. When I was living in Tallahassee, Florida, there would be so many good house shows. But if you weren't in the network or in the scene or knew the right people, you were never going to find out about these shows.
Exactly.
And then you'd be looking at all the venues there and being like, they never bring in anyone cool. And you're like, no, dude, all the cool bands are playing in these basements.
House shows in Tallahassee.
It's great, right on 10, too.
Yeah.
So it's, bands are always coming across there to get to the East Coast.
Sure.
May as well slide through the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much, that was the mission, dude. Find out where the shows are. Just like wrestling, what companies are running in this town?
Yeah.
That's why I kept this business ethic to this very day. You know what I'm saying? I understand that you need to get known in certain territories. When I see someone post, why is nobody booking this guy in this town? Well, is he getting out on the ground? Is he investing in himself to go to these towns to say, hey, where's the shows out? Who's the promoters? Who's the boys? What's going on? Taking the risk. If you're not taking the risk, I don't want to hear about why you're not getting the opportunities.
Because I tell that to people too, where I'm like, if I was a utopian idealist, I would say you're going to be booked based on your skill and how good you are, and people will find out about you. But the truth is, like, the guys who are getting it are the ones who are showing up to the shows, who are going, if I want to make this drive as someone who's being a part of this show, I better make this drive when I'm not a part of this show to get in front of them, because people they're not checking emails anymore. They're not waiting to hear what seminars you've done or see your highlights. They go, what is your benefit to our show? Like, how are you going to what are you going to give to our show, or what can you do here? And it's like, if I have guys that are willing, especially like in Vegas, if I have guys that are willing to set flyers on the ground and set stuff on the ground, the difference is remarkable. And so I just think in wrestling a lot of times, and you find out the hard way in music, you have to be your own cheerleader at every point. And sometimes being a cheerleader is getting on the ground and putting in a little work to actually help the scene you want to be a part of.
And I think a lot of people forget it's a mom and pop shop. The more you're involved sweeping the floor and stocking the shelves, and then there is a pecking order, there's an etiquette, and there's a value system you have to withhold in yourself. Yeah, and there's a limit. Yeah, don't be desperate.
Right.
But be valuable. And I on my calendar is always full because of these business ethics that I have, and this way I like to work, and it's gotten me to get a lot of tryout. I'll be like, this is a tryout.
Yeah.
And how can I be? We can't run the show without the guy. If it's even from putting up the lights to being valuable to helping people get venues, promoters hit me up. Hey, we're looking for a venue here. Rob said, do you know anywhere?
Yeah.
You know,
how
people
can
hit
I
me up.
assist in
People hit me
expanding
up
what you're doing?
for all sorts of shit in wrestling. To where do I get a ring?
Who do you know that has a venue?
Who do you know that has a venue? Who's a reliable, dependable worker? You know what I'm saying? I get hit up with these because I know the whole process. I also work in the film industry.
Yeah.
As a grip. So I understand what it's like to put on a show. I also been throwing and booking shows since I was, 19 years old.
Well, this is the bigger point is like a lot of these guys come in and they're like real bummed out. They're like, nobody will hear their sales pitch on things. And I'm like, if you know the value of what you're going to bring as a performer to the spot, and you know when you get to the ring and do your thing that like it's going to be sick and great, there's so many other ways to sell them on putting you in that position than just doing this. And as someone who's been through a lot of industries and a lot of shows and a lot of people, you know that pushing too hard and doing too much in front of the like these are guys trying to run a show, and if I show up and annoy them all day, it's one thing. But it's like the balance of, okay, well, if it's time to set up chairs, I'm going to help set up chairs the whole time. That's not the time when I need to be outside smoking and joking with somebody, or that's not the time when I need to be asking Brett about what the spot is tonight, or asking whoever's on the show what the spot is tonight. Like being able to go in and go, hey, when it's time for this thing, like we'll get to that thing.
Yeah.
We'll find a time where you can talk to me, and maybe there is and maybe there isn't. But it's like having the timing and placement. You see that a lot all over different types of places where you go.
And you got to get creative. You don't want to be in the pod just putting chairs up. You know what I'm saying? And there's people out there who've openly made, posts and comments about disagreeing with my ethic. That's fine. Everything works for people in different ways. But I understand that you have to find a company, find your list of companies you want to work for, and attack it and be valuable. If everyone's setting up chairs, be like this, hey, you got any old banners laying around? They'll be like, yeah, we do actually. Go grab an old banner that's folded up. Put it at the doorway or the entrance of where the wrestlers come out, and they'll be like, holy shit, we didn't even think of that. Now I'm thinking of production. I'm thinking of advertisement. I'm thinking, how can I be beneficial?
Well, and it's making it easier for every part of the show. Like, where do you see that it needs a little lift?
Yeah. What is the viewer and the fans experience, and how can you make it more palatable for them?
Yeah, I love that you treat it like it, and it's the same way as bands, the same way as anything. There's so many moving parts. There's so many things that have to be done that if I'm just thinking about, well, I need my chance in the ring, I've been practicing so hard, you're missing the point that the whole thing doesn't exist without all of these other things, all of these other people, and there's things that get slipping through the cracks that you just like, yeah, maybe they don't have a Handycam person there that day, and they go, can anybody run the Handycam camera? And you go, I may not be the perfect person for this, but now I have a way in to go.
Or I suggest a guy, hey, I know a guy.
Yeah.
I pawn off a job on someone else. Hey, we need him on the next show because he's got ideas and creativity and things that'll bring the production better. You know what I mean? Dude, I'll totally send people that are coming up that are reliable, and I'll send them to Brett and be like, hey, this dude will put up the TVs for you at the show. I can't make it.
I can't do that, but this guy, he's been through my filter. You can trust this guy.
Yeah, exactly. And then I will, now I'm putting my name on you. So if you fuck up, now you're fucking things up for me too.
That's
so
the
there's
thing
that
too. Is you
don't
can only give somebody the chance to show up and do what you expect them to do. They have to actually show up to the spot to do it. And I think, like, even if there's kids at shows that like don't have anything going on, I'll ask her, like, what are you doing? Like, who's giving you directions? Yeah. And if the show hits and there's not much going on, putting them at my merch table and they help me out, or they help me in that way where like they've helped at the show all day and they're helping me at my table, I'm going to put them over to the promoter. Yo, so-and-so made my day so easy tonight. I know they were helping me with other stuff. Yeah. And having that system of, I may not have even ever seen you freaking wrestle, but like when I needed some assistance or when something came up, I'm willing, if I put my good word on you, I can at least get you the spot that you can then, it's like seeing a band play. Maybe they had to beg to get on the show. Maybe they had to set up the show. Maybe they had to do like a bringer and sell tickets. Yeah. But if the band is good enough and I put you in that spot, I can't make you be good, but I can at least make it easy for you to get the chance to show your art so that you've got, at least an opportunity. Yeah. And I think rewarding that is the only way the scene kind of builds in all type of scenes, which is magic. Wrestling scene is a bit strange, but I do like, you played in a lot of bands. My problem with bands was that other people could fuck up when I didn't, and it would fuck me up. How do you feel wrestling versus band wise? Like, there is also like a really euphoric thing of when you're playing with a band and you're all hitting it. There's something really sick about that. It's like a Power Rangers group project.
Yeah.
But kind of pros and cons.
But, you know, I started playing in bands at 10 years old. You know?
What were you playing at 10 years old?
I was playing bass.
That's so sick.
I lived with this Italian family, and they were all musicians, and they were really into Billy Joel. The oldest was Anthony.
Who isn't into Billy Joel?
Soulless motherfucker.
Yeah, Billy Joel gave a... It's fine. So...
Yeah. And so I lived with the Italian family, in Long Island, and they showed me how to, my first chords. I was like, I probably can't play guitar yet. I'm not that good, so I'll play bass. And then they showed me, and then I started. My best friend Michael, he was really good at guitar, so I played bass. And then we found a drummer, and then we started having band practice. And then I had to choose between band practice or hockey because I was really into sports until I was about like 12 years old. And then
hockey's
I
fun
was like,
too because you get to tackle people and figure skate.
And then so I started playing in bands, and then you start. That's where I was like, I'm chubby. I was like, I don't know how to talk to girls, but I can play music.
Yeah,
that'll get. This will maybe be my in. That's my drive.
And musicians wear black, which makes you look slim. You know what I mean? It makes you look hot and cool and mysterious.
So, but wrestling and bands, I mean, same thing. You have to rely on 2 other dudes.
I mean, I guess you rely in wrestling on another person as well.
Well, that's why I never wanted to do a tag team, and now I think I got more tag teams than I can count.
Yeah, but even without a tag team, you still got to have another guy you're with. And it's like, I feel like in wrestling, I've met so many people that I would have never in my life been around and have completely different lives from me. But then we kind of can find common ground, and like, I'm almost in a new band every night.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not playing music, but we're doing a story and a tale and a song and a set together that's just us figuring it out. And there's some nights it's just like, I feel like I'm pulling teeth a little bit, getting my point across or getting them to understand what my vision is. But then sometimes you find out with people like, oh, I wouldn't have become that person if you weren't there to pull that out of me. And there's like, I don't know, the collaboration aspect of both is always very rewarding and beats you up. That's
the pro about being in a band, is that when you are firing on all cylinders, everybody's got the same vision and everybody wants the same goals, and you're all investing in the band and yourselves. And it's like, yo, we're doing this, we're playing big shows. But then, then the cons are, oh, this guy's not feeling it. You could start to smell it. Yeah,
and
the drummer's not really into
harder.
it anymore. And then, like, they're not showing up to practice anymore. So it's like, it has to be a well-oiled machine. And that's the con part, is that is that it could fall apart and go away at any moment. You could build this whole album up, and then boom, these guys are gone. And I used to get real emotional about that. But then that's why
it's like a relationship.
It's like a relationship.
You're putting something together, and then you also have things that are, because you were together, exist now kind of for eternity. Like when your band puts out a record, that is, that moment is stuck in time forever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure. And it's a moment in your life, and you listen to the lyrics, you're like, wow, that's how I used to think. Wow, I was really an idiot, or I was like, that's pretty smart for a young man at that time, to take observations like that, or that's a different view of life.
Yeah.
So, the touring the band thing got old. It's a hard lifestyle, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even tour that much, but when I was touring with people and when I was in a van, that's the closest I've come to not being gay. Because just like, boys get stinky on the road, and it turns out that's not for me.
Yeah.
And it was just like being at the end of a wrestling show. Let's say somebody's gross and they have bad hygiene, they haven't showered. I get to leave the wrestling show. It's not like we finish, we're sweaty, we just did a set, and then it's like, and Dylan is a stinky little pig boy.
Yeah.
And he's taking his freaking socks off, and it's horrible, and his sneakers smell so bad, and we have to sleep in this van because we've got to get to the next town. It's 12 hours, whatever it is. And you're like, I don't think I could ever love a man again in my life. So I get the kind of like, because there's something that I think has helped me that I think maybe is similar to you, of like, sometimes you just have to get it done. Like whether it's uncomfortable or whether it's crazy, like you have to just do it and make it happen. And I've learned so many types of discomforts in both wrestling and being around music stuff that like, I feel like it would be very hard pressed to surprise either of us with something that like stopped us from being able to do kind of what we're there to do. You know, have you ever had something that's like completely thrown you off before?
What, in a band?
Yeah, just anywhere, like where you're just like, oh, I feel like I was prepared for anything, and I was not prepared for this.
I mean, yeah, I mean that shit happens all the time. As far as being in a band, I mean, yeah, there's not everyone's gonna be transparent on where they're at in their lives or in the band, and then someone just disappears or the van breaks down and.
Yeah, and nobody's there to back it up, and
yeah, but that's how you learn how to work on vans. You know what I mean? Like, hey, the U joint broke on the fucking van. Now we got to go get it. So you're always gonna come across curveballs, or hey, we pissed that guy off and he popped our tire last night, or hey, we've had crazy stuff happen because our band was a bunch of troublemakers.
I love that thing in wrestling where, like, I'm thinking even more of matches where I will have come across the same problem as someone is having calling a match, whether it's like we can't figure out this finish or we don't know what to do with this, and I love that, like, you mentioned doing the van work, because I'm going, yeah, you just get to that point and you go, well, I got to figure out what the fuck's going on. And thank God now for like YouTube and stuff where I can look stuff up so quick, but there is like an adaptability that you get being on the road, seeing the world, seeing that like people lived so differently. Like I'm over here going like, I don't think I could live on the trains, but it's like, I'm also like, if I was kind of thrown into a situation, I wouldn't die. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I could make some wing it decisions. I'm quick to become a forest person again as quick as I can.
Yeah, well, it's all a goal. You know, I had a goal. I was like, so it wasn't mindlessly just riding freight trains around the country.
Yeah.
And then you know, I had a squat house in Philly.
Yeah.
For 8 years.
That's
we
crazy.
moved into I was living in this place called Paradise City. It was 8 stories, and it was Philly time. It was the summertime, and there was this fest called, I forgot the name of the fest. Either way, it was like a crust metal punk rock fest.
Yeah.
Everyone came into town, and everybody moved into this building. The electricity got turned on because Nextel had towers on the roof for the chirping.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so they had the power on because of that, but it was a abandoned building. So we took over the top 2
So
floors.
Nextel was just letting the power ride, and I mean they had to know it was being used.
Oh yeah, and
right?
also they didn't pay their bill either because we talked to the guys from Nextel when they were like, "Yo, here's your mail," and they're like, "Yeah, we haven't." They're like, "You guys haven't paid your bills, and we're squatting this building." And so we had this place called Paradise City. 2 top floors. The low of the low, we're on the 7th floor. We're like, this guy's got scabies. We can't let him. We're
we can't. He needs to get
that course
before
cake
he's
you
up
got,
here.
dude, is a little questionable. I think you should just stay down there.
You said you're staying in the penthouse.
Yeah, yeah. And then the top floor, every room was filled with all sorts of runaways or punk rockers or alcoholics or junkies. It was all a cast of characters. Everyone hang out, and then there was also Law and Order there, and I was a part of the Law and Order team. And so someone's being a dick, we wrap them up in duct tape and spray paint them gold and throw them down the stairs and be like, I think they get the message.
You're like the
around.
Fagin in Oliver Twist. Did you ever see My Own Private Idaho with Keanu Reeves?
No.
And River Phoenix? And they're both unhoused gay prostitutes?
No.
Well, they become. This is the vision in my head is the Seattle like house that they were in where they were squatting out and like there was some Law and Order.
Yeah.
You never saw Keanu Reeves out there working?
No.
What? How do you become the Law and Order though? Like what? Like you get in there, you're there. Were you a founder of the house or was
no?
It like...
I wasn't a founder, but once I moved in there, I lost that apartment I was telling you about on South Street, and I was like, shit, I got nowhere to go, no money. So I was like, cool, I'm moving to Paradise City, and then so pretty much because I care. That's why I was like, these
you were
people,
like, I'm not going to
people,
put up with BS.
They're
in
like
here.
somebody shitting this dude Elias Jules. He used to talk like this. Come on, Rob, come on. And I was like, I was like, Jules. He had a cane. He was from New York, a little Italian guy, but he was just a drunk, sloppy, violent piece of shit. And he just thought and one day he shit in my buddy's bed. And he came out. My buddy's like, oh my God, Elias Jules shit in my bed. And I was like, bro, you gonna do something about it? He's like, I don't want to deal with it. I was like, I'm gonna fucking do something. So I grabbed him. He's passed out. I grabbed his cane. I started beating his legs. I said, time to get up, Elias Jules. And I dragged him out and I threw him down the staircase. And I was like, now you're down on the 7th floor, dude.
Yeah. You've been removed.
Until you make it up, which he did by giving us beers and calming down and shutting up for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, not shitting on anyone's bed.
Not shitting on anyone's bed, and then you know that it just because it was like the audacity. It doesn't matter. You could be living in chaos. Chaos still needs law and order. You can't have
well,
people.
And just like, hey, I know we're sharing this space, but everybody should have at least like where their stuff is, the decency of it's not a toilet now.
Yeah,
especially
exactly.
with Nextel fronting the bill, you know,
Yeah.
or not fronting the bill.
Yeah. But we all used to, you know, we didn't have water, we had electricity, but we had a kitchen where everyone dumpsters. So each we had, I don't know, probably like 20 apartments upstairs, you know, so everyone had their own apartment. And then we had the common room where everyone would dumpster food and put all the dumpster food in there. It was for about a few months. It was going pretty well until
they throw away a lot of food at these grocery stores.
Oh, it's crazy, dude. We were eating like kings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Did you have favorite grocery stores or grocery stores you knew that were gonna?
Trader Joe's was a big Target. They were throwing away a lot of stuff.
Target, I feel like, never sells groceries and has
no, not Target. They were a
day.
big Target for us.
Oh, they were a big Target.
Yeah.
Yeah, Target may have blocks on them now, but Trader Joe's has all the snacks, so you get a lot of good non-perishables in there. And granolas and proteins and
So pretty much Paradise City was around. I lived there until the wintertime, and then it got freezing cold. Those were some dark times.
And you can't light a fire on the 8th floor.
No, you can't.
You got to get a heater.
Yeah, I didn't see the sun. I didn't see sunbreak for like 2 months because it was wintertime and it was freezing, dude. And I had my rats. I would let my rats out and they would kill the mice in the room.
So you had a good friendship with that. I was talking about getting a shoulder rat to somebody the other day.
Yeah.
They're very intelligent creatures. Mice are not very smart, but rats are.
Yeah, the mice pissed me off. So
Do you think they knew you were like helping each other?
I don't know. I mean, the rats I was really close with. One of the rats, Dirt, and then but then they were because they got the taste for blood from killing the mice. Because I would just hear them killing the mice underneath my bed. I was like, "Cool, take care of those."
Did they want to chomp?
But then
they
then they had a little massacre.
Oh, so there was a civil war.
There was a civil war, and the leader.
Where did the rats go? When you said let the rats out, where were you keeping the rats?
I was keeping them in a nice cage.
Oh, okay. So they had like a
and
nice
I would panhandle. I was 19,
sort of
20 years old.
You're like a Ben who like they're just like following you through the.
Yeah. No. I would I would make sure they were fed but then they had a little massacre. But yeah, no, I would let them out and let them around. I would have one living in my jacket when I was first kicked out of my house when I was like 17. So. I had my rat Noodles. He would live in my leather jacket, and I would sleep outside in the wintertime. And then one time,
this is romantic.
Yeah, one time I went and was stealing some food from 7-Eleven, and I was like, "Cool, nobody's around." I walk in, I steal a bagel, I'm walking out, and the guy's like, "Hey." And I was like, huh? And I turn around, and my rat Noodles came out at the same time and looked at him, and he's like, just take it.
The rat man can have what he wants.
Yeah, the rat. Yeah. And
okay,
then,
I see what you're doing, buddy. You get out of here with the bagel.
But
you weren't even being greedy, though.
No, I wasn't being greedy. I was just trying to feed me and the rat.
Yeah.
And then
I bet rats love bagels.
Yeah. But so
it's
that was my time in Paradise City.
Here.
That was my time in Paradise City, and then then I was segueing into So then I had to get another place because I was like, this is way too harsh for them. Because, dude, it'd be the winter time. I'd have to go through the basement in the dark, up through 7 floors, and then some floors were blocked off so the cops couldn't get to us. So we would have barricaded doors. So there were certain floors you cross over, you run into bums in there, and you're like, oh shit, man.
Yeah, and it's dark and
then it would get a little creepy in the wintertime. And then that's why I was like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta improve my life a little bit here.
Yeah,
I was working at a car wash.
That's fun.
Yeah. And then
people used to tip at the car wash.
Yeah, they don't do it anymore.
They don't do it anymore.
I'm a good tipper. But then so then I went to my buddy's house, and they had a squat called Your Mom's House.
Okay.
So I was
Who was the mom?
There was no mom.
Oh, it was just
it was a guy in prison, and the neighbor was letting the punks stay
because
at the house.
He knew the guy was gone.
Yeah. She wanted
this
someone
has to happen more often.
She wanted someone to take care of Steve Lightning, the dog.
The dog's name was Steve Lightning.
So the dog, it was the dog's house.
Okay.
But it was called Your Mom's
House. You guys keep care of this dog.
So we've got Steve Lightning the dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've got Noodles the rat.
Yeah.
And did I hear correctly, Dirt?
Yeah, Dirt Cobain.
Dirt Cobain.
Yeah. I got on Kurt Cobain's 10-year anniversary.
What's your puppy's name now?
Ducat.
Ducat.
Yeah, like Ducat.
Ducat.
Yeah.
I met Ducat, right?
Yeah.
I gotta fly.
So I'm living at Paradise City. I'm
and
like,
then you get to your mom's house,
and then I get to your mom's
Steve
house,
Lightning.
and Steve Lightning's there, and
Is there a breed of this dog? Do we know?
Yeah, he was a white, like a white shepherd.
Okay.
He was very feminine. He would
Okay.
he would always be like,
he do the
yes, he
hands
would
cross
do
thing?
it all the
Oh.
time. It was we were like, Steve's gay.
Yeah, Steve Lightning,
He would go,
your mother is gay.
"Oh," I'm telling you, it
He would
was.
go, whoa, with the...
Dude, I'm not even
I
joking.
know what you're talking about, too, because I've
we
seen
were like,
their...
Steve, this is
I've
Steve's
seen
house. We
huskies
all
that are
love
gay.
Steve. And then so my girlfriend was like, yo, there's an abandoned house through the alley over here. And so I walked in there, and the electricity was on.
Whoa.
And I was like, yo, we're moving in here, and we're going to call it Papa Squat. So I got some of the boys that had nowhere to live either.
Yeah.
Dude, Scabs. And my girlfriend
Was
at
that...
the time.
Did he have them?
Scabs?
Yeah.
He was kind of cut up sometimes, or he had
Yeah.
like scabs on him. Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
But was that what the name was, or was his last name like Scarborough and you just changed it to Scabs?
I don't know. Scabs was kind of quiet. He didn't talk too much.
Okay,
He,
all right.
he was in the band with me.
We hope you're okay, Scabs.
Yeah.
What did he play? Drums?
He was a guitar player.
Okay.
I played the
But
bass.
not a singing guitar player.
No.
Regular
he didn't even
guitar
talk much.
players are mysterious.
Yeah. He and so so we opened up Papa Squat. I changed the locks on the doors, and then 3 days later I hear banging on the door, and it's the dealers on the block
Who are
who are telling me it's their house, and I said no, it's my house.
yeah,
I got
they're
the
just using,
paperwork
like a trap
upstairs.
spot or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they just walked through it. They did. Yeah.
Oh.
So we pretty much got in an argument for about 10 minutes. And then I was like, this is my house. No, he's like, this is my house. And then we both went like this. All right, it's neither one of our houses. And he's like, yeah, you're pretty cool, dude. He's like, you're pretty ballsy. And literally was like this, I'll watch out for you. And there was this dude, Bill. And he literally watched out for me. And I fucking changed the locks.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, I lived there. I had the house for 8 years. Turned the electricity on, had the water on.
Nobody ever came back? Who was paying the bill?
Nobody. It was an abandoned house.
They just left the electricity on. They forgot to check everything.
Well, they shut the electricity. Yeah, they shut the electricity off once. I heard them. I heard, and then they on the roof.
Yep.
I was like, oh shit, and the power went off, and I was like, fuck. So I asked my neighbor. I was like, yo, how do I turn the electricity on? He told me what to do. So I went up there with a wrench and I reattached everything they cut.
All the power.
And then I went to the globe and I pulled the globe off. And there's just one little piece of metal. I unscrewed it. I flipped it around. I put the globe back on. And so they literally drive by with like a laser that attaches to each house, and it gives a reading on if the meter is running.
Right.
So when I flipped it over like that, I shut the meter off so that it would read nothing. So the power was on. It bypassed it and it read nothing.
Data centers, we're coming for you.
Comedy podcast.
Comedy podcast.
It's all comedy, guys.
I think it's this is great information to have for the future.
Yeah. But I'd have bands practice there. I'd have
You were giving it back to the community. You weren't just saying, "Oh, I found this thing." You're going, "This is ours. Let's all get the right people in here."
Yeah, exactly. As long as I knew you, people would just randomly knock on my door and be like, "Who can I stay here?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, I don't know you.
Yeah.
You got.
I need some credentials.
Yeah, I gotta meet. Yeah, or I'd have people recommend people.
I love that now though, because like I've gotten kind of used to whenever I go somewhere, people know me. But sometimes I'll go. Like I was at Fest in Florida, and we were going to this DIY space, and somebody was like, "No, he's cool. Like he's with me. Like he's with the rest." And they were like, "I've never met him, and I don't even know you that well. You're not coming in the space." And I was like, honestly, this rules so hard. Just knowing that like there's a line in the sand for them that they can just go like, I'm sure we would be fine if they got to know. Like I'm sure it would be great, but knowing that like I don't have the credentials here.
Yeah, and I wasn't looking for more friends, but you obtain friends through fun
but also
times.
Everybody's situation kind of keeps changing, so people may end up needing something or want to do shows somewhere. I lived in a show venue for a little while, and
oh really?
Yeah, it was. I would come home sometimes, and the boys would forget to tell me they were having shows.
Oh shit!
And my one rule was no holes in the wall.
Yeah.
And it was never followed.
It was never
followed.
That's a hard
I kept
one.
having to patch.
You might as well say no amps over 2.
Yeah, well, they're like, well, they're a slam band from Michigan, and you're like, yeah, but that's my fucking wall, dude.
Yeah.
But there would be sometimes where I'd get home from work, and there would be like a show going on, and 100 people on my lawn, and then I'd be like, I'm going to the movies, and I would just like mom the situation because I was like probably 25 or 26, and these guys were 19, 20, and wanted to be like, oh, we want to have shows, but would never tell me when it was going to be.
Yeah.
And so it was just like chaos constantly coming into your house, and like Did you get your food eaten a lot? I feel like I always got my food.
I was kind of like the guy who ate the food, but I was like, I'm the boss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was clean, dude. I would clean. You know, I would make sure there were clean days. If people didn't do dishes, I would literally take all the dishes and throw them at them and be like, "Yo, dishes got to get fucking done." They'd be like, "Holy shit, I guess
Tribal chief."
Yeah, dude. I got to run shit. I'm the one risking my life.
Yeah.
You know, I'm risking my life with the electricity. I'm on the block, the spokesman for the block. If someone on the block don't like you, you better fucking watch out. I had one of my buddies steal the drugs from the dealers.
What?
Yeah, Billy, R.I.P., but he almost got me killed one time because they were like, "Yo, Bill is not happy," and I was like, "What happened?" They're like, "He stole the sack," and I was like, "Oh, well, I got to kill Billy now. I gotta fuck him up."
Comedy podcast.
But I obviously didn't because
Kill him, yeah.
they
He died of other
actually
causes.
got over it real quick.
But did he give him the drugs back?
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess they were on drugs.
Yeah.
What? How long does that go on? Like, is there a breaking point, or is there just like I'm going to the next thing in my life? Because you don't live there now.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And did your mom? What happened to your mom's house? Did they
your mom's
ever come
house was
home?
there for about 8 years, and then it shut down maybe after 6, and then Papa Squat was reigning
still
supreme,
there.
and then I was touring with my band Bucket Flush, and some of the members would live there, and then some of the members lived in other states, and we would just meet up for tours and stuff like that. But
That's so sick.
Yeah, but we lived like that for a long time, and then your mom's house, actually, my ex-girlfriend ended up buying it. It got put up for auction, and this is when I moved out. I moved out to the West Coast.
Yeah, like a bank auction. Like nobody has this house.
Yeah, exactly. She got it for $16,000. So pretty much, I was like, I got to get out of Philly. So my good friend Tim Jones pretty much was like, "Yo, you got to get out of town, and you're not doing good here in Philadelphia." It was too much freedom, too much. No structure,
Too much availability.
But like I had structure, but I just wasn't following my own routines, and so pretty much my buddy pulled me out. I was living in the van with him actually because I was breaking up with my girlfriend at the time, so was disconnecting from Papa Squat because she wouldn't leave. I was like, "Well, you get out of here. I don't like you."
Yeah,
and then she wouldn't leave.
She said, "I'm living here."
She's like, "I'm living here."
And
I'm
I'm
like,
buying
"You're
the one
squatting.
next door."
You're squatting the squat house. What am I supposed to say? I can't say you're off the lease."
The rules haven't changed.
Yeah. It's like
just because it's a boohoo to you now.
So pretty much, I was leaving to the West Coast, and then we got pulled over, and then I got arrested. So that sent me back like a week or two, and then I.
So you didn't get held long term though.
No.
They didn't know about Bill and the drugs.
No.
Thank God. Where'd you get arrested in Atlanta?
Oh, right on Little
Or is
Five
that
Points.
yeah.
Oh, so I'd say around.
Bobby, piece of crap. He's fine. Okay. You can barely hear him on there, but you can hear him, and it's kind of.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. This is normal to me. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
But so around the early time, like I think 2005 is when I opened up the squat. 2007 is the first time I came to Little 5 Points, and I rode from Atlanta with like 9 people on a freight train over the water, over the what's that water right outside the
Lake Lanier,
nah.
Chattahoochee.
I don't remember the name. Either way, when you leave on a train out of New Orleans, you go across the water.
Oh, that lake that's 20 miles.
Yeah, you go over
Pontchartrain.
Pontchartrain. You go
The
over
world's
that,
longest
dude.
bridge, I
That
think.
was so sick. I mean,
Wait, so there's rails that go over Pontchartrain?
Dude,
That's crazy.
and then everybody was like running around. I was just nodding out, kind of like, "This is the best day ever, man."
Yeah, it really
And
is
then-
beautiful to drive.
And then,
through that.
but yeah, like you look down and there's the water, and you're just going on this fucking train over Lake Pontchartrain.
Yeah, and
on
it's
a
20
train.
full miles across that lake.
Yeah,
To get to New Orleans.
You feel every minute.
It
of
really is like New Orleans to me is one of the few places in America that doesn't feel like an American town on purpose because it separates itself and it has its own set of rules and governance and belief and truth, and it's like I don't know. Every time I go there, I'm like, oh, this is not necessarily the same country.
No. Different rules, everything's different culture.
And just different humidity. There's like, I can be like in Savannah or in Atlanta or in Florida even and be like, oh, it's humid. But like the most humid summer August day in New Orleans is like you're soaked. I'm soaked. I'm soaked just being around town. But you kind of like turn into a more primal version being in this. I don't know. I'm very much a fan of New Orleans. I'm trying to get Peter down to New Orleans, but I have to pay National Rental Car $20 because I didn't pay them the gas back on part of it.
Ooh,
so I've got to get that fixed first before I'm allowed to rent a car again. You said head west, but then we went to Atlanta. What were you thinking about?
Oh, I'll stick to the Atlanta thing because I'm almost done with that. So I rode from Lake Pontchartrain into Atlanta, got off the train.
Into New Orleans. You're talking about New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
Pontchartrain into New Orleans. Got off the train.
Oh, yeah. Pontchartrain to New Orleans. No, I was talking about, you said, how did I get to Atlanta?
Oh, yeah.
The first time. Where I got arrested in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So pretty much I got from the train from New Orleans into Atlanta. I got
so you were coming from there.
So speaking of that different lifestyle of different ways, so I'd been in New Orleans for 2 weeks. So I got off the train. I'm drinking a beer. Open in the streets of Atlanta. And a cop was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, I'm drinking a bear.
Yeah, that's
he's like, well, that's illegal, dude. Well, you're in Atlanta. That's not how it is.
You can't do this out in the streets here. This is not that town.
So he arrested me. And then I just never paid, the fine or whatever.
Wow.
Nothing that big,
No, of course not. And they probably have, I don't know. They've got bigger problems to worry about right now in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Your old, I was drinking a Bud Light in the streets of the little 5 Points area. Yeah. That area is crazy. That area is, the celebs are always present in little 5 Points now.
Yeah.
It does seem to be a spot where everybody kind of ends up in. You're a West Coast guy now, though.
Live on the West Coast now, yeah.
You ride motorcycles?
Oh, yeah. Been riding since 2013.
Now, you said about like the motorcycle subculture kind of. Is it something you had to get into before you drove motorcycles? Or did you get a motorcycle and then had to find out how to get into the motorcycle culture?
Well, it's funny.
Does it come along with
the culture that I was a part of? And when I say culture, I mean the lifestyle, living to ride and riding to live, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Harley
corny.
style.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the way it is.
But a lot of the guys that were the ones that lived out of the lifestyle with the freight train riding and the punk bands, they all started riding motorcycles. So it's like I would go to towns, meet up with them, ride motorcycles with them, and it was kind of like we're working on bikes, we're hanging out, we're doing the same. We're doing the same shit, but now we got motorcycles.
I think you really are. You're a dude who lives, and I think that's why I am kind of like drawn to you so much, because it feels like every time like you're kind of up for it, and you've also, or if we're like, hey, this thing, you'd be like, I actually tried that thing, but I don't think you should go do that. You know what I mean? Like I don't think you should go be a part of that. Like hold on a second. And there's just something beautiful about experience that like the more stuff you do, the more things you're a part of, the more people you meet, the more you're like, oh, there's so much cool stuff out here. Like I want to keep finding new things. What drew you to wrestling? What made wrestling like, okay, I want to get in this? Were you like a fan growing up? Were you like
hardcore
watching ECW?
Hardcore fan growing up. I'm from Long Island, so in the late 90s there was the on the syndicated TV stations that are on for free.
Yeah.
Everyone was Stone Cold Steve Austin was huge. I came across a show called ECW. I saw Sabu and Taz, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And
the energy is different.
Dude, it was not WWE. And WWE was raunchy, but I was like, this is levels above. So I would tell friends, like, yo, you know what ECW is? They'd be like, I've never heard of that in my life.
Right.
And I'll be like, well, I would leave anywhere I was to go home and sit in front of the TV and watch this program.
It was like the most, because I remember when the NWO came out, I was like, this is an actual gang, because I was like 8 years old. And then going to ECW and finding that, you go, oh, no, this is real, violent, crazy stuff that's happening here that is like beyond what you think they would be allowed to even show people of what we were seeing in that time and what we were prevalent to.
Oh, yeah. A lot of feelings coming on with, the girls getting naked. I'm like, oh, my God.
Yeah, Beulah McGillicuddy's proof I'm a bisexual, for sure. Like, I just want to be honest.
Yeah.
One of the most, and then seeing her do, like, the crazy shit with, like, her taking pile drivers was, like, more jarring to me than fucking watching barbed wire or something.
Yeah. So, ECW enters my life, and then I'm hanging out with kind of the friends, the group this is before cultures influence your friends. This is where you're just hanging out with the boys.
Hanging out with dudes, playing a little N64
yeah,
sometimes.
wrestling in the backyard.
Yeah,
Not,
throwing the ball.
Your commonality is just we're young and like
we don't
learning
have the
about
connected
life.
internet necessarily of anything. So
We
it's
don't
just
have-
like, do you know about this thing or we should do this thing?
What bands you listen to, what movies you liked, what you wore, that didn't matter yet. It was, but then once girls started coming in, everyone started dressing accordingly what was hip. And I was kind of like, what are you guys doing? I was like,
You're peacocking,
you're just
baby.
kind of following along. So those kids all came over to my house, and Mick Foley got thrown off the cage, and my dad bought the pay-per-view. Mick Foley gets thrown off the cage. I got so excited. I didn't know how to handle it. I took a race car and started carving my face with the race car.
What?
They looked at me like I was insane. I was that into it.
You started gigging with the Hot Wheels
I started
after
turning,
seeing
that,
Mick Foley?
that race car that flips over like this.
Yeah.
It like never flips over. It always goes on the
Yeah,
other
it goes
side.
back.
I
It
turned that
always
on
is
high
like
and just started doing this across my face. And they all looked at me. They're like, we can't hang out with this kid anymore. And it was like, I was like, they were my best. Then I stopped getting invited to sleepovers. And then they all
Yeah, they were
jumped
like,
me.
"You're nuts."
They all
They jumped
Yeah, they
you?
jumped me at a sleepover.
So they were the violent ones.
They were the violent ones, but they were intimidated by my insanity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They beat me with, I know this sounds weird, with licorice sticks. You know the rope licorice
Yeah,
stick? That shit
yeah.
hurt. I had
Like
marks
whips,
all over me.
like
yeah.
welts.
And then they made me sleep in a room with no blanket or the window was locked.
Because you knew Mankind was
Cause,
hardcore?
Because
'Cause you
I
were
started
down?
I wasn't trying to impress girls.
Yeah.
I was just kind of doing my own thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, you don't
They
fit
were like,
in. You don't fit in
making-
with the tribe.
You're scaring the women.
You're scaring the women.
the girls.
Yep.
And stop cutting yourself and putting on freaking Cactus Jack.
Yeah. I dressed like a girl that year, like Halloween. I was like,
Yeah,
I was
they were
like,
like-
I was about shock value. They were like, you're so weird, dude. We don't know what to do. You and these were my buddy Mike, who I was talking about, his Italian family. He stopped. He was like, he stopped hanging out with me. So literally, I had like no friends for like 2 years, and then and then I moved from these like kind of rough neighborhood into a nice house. And I got the cops called on me there. They were like, there's some like kid that's not supposed
Were
to
you
be in
doing
the
like
neighborhood.
backyard wrestling, or you
No,
were
just
in the
walking
house
around,
looking
just
like a
walking around the
weirdo?
neighborhood.
They were like, we can't deal with weirdos.
Yeah. They were like,
Wow.
I had the cops call on me. I had kids picking on me. I'd punch them in the face, and then their parents would come and be like, "Why is your son a bully?"
Figuring out you can punch people as a kid is the greatest.
Oh yeah.
I think I only punched one kid as a kid, but I remember going, "Oh, you can do this.
Yeah.
This is awesome."
And so that so that's when the punk rock world started becoming appealing to
Yeah,
me.
because you're not that weird to them, and you probably weren't even knowing this whole world existed. And it's like that combination of the music and the mosh and the crazy atmosphere. You're rewarded for being weird.
Exactly.
You're better as a part of the crew if you're a weirdo.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the childhood punching people. Now, I had been in a few fights when I was a kid. I'd been punched a few times. I've been beat up by a mom that I spit on her son. Following the crowd, I would bully kids because I was afraid to get beat up, right?
You didn't pretend spit. You didn't do the hygiene tool.
No,
of
I didn't. I
spitting.
loogied right in his fucking kid's
I've
face.
loogied on a woman at a wrestling show
pissed
before.
off. I pissed me off. Anyways, uncalled for. But so I'll tell a little story about being a childhood and learning the difference between good and evil. So I'm at the bus stop, and you'd have to pick on kids so you didn't get picked on. That was I remember that distinctly.
This is prison rules for school.
Yeah, this is
Straight up.
New York. There
ready.
wasn't a lot of dads around. A lot of
Yeah. A lot of
single moms,
shitheads.
a lot of shitheads.
This
a
is
lot of
before you
misdirection.
could be a Rizzler and you just had to take your energy out somewhere else.
Yeah. So there was this kid Asif, and he was Pakistani, and their religion wasn't to shower, so he was an easy target. So I'd see the bullies, and I'd be like, I'd make fun of Asif. So one day, Asif is there, and I'm there, and the bullies are there, and they're like, hey, they're like, they kind of get us to quarrel with each other, me and Asif. And I was like, yeah, F you, Asif. And they go, Asif, you going to take that from him? And he's like, no. So the bullies grab me, pick me up, throw me on the ground, and let Asif jump on top of me and start punching me in the face.
They used him as a conduit?
They used him as a conduit and they got Asif to punch me in the face repeatedly. School goes by. I'm fucking heated all day. I'm like, fuck Asif, man. I'm not even thinking that the bullies are the problem. I'm like, what am I going to fight them?
Why did he do that?
Yeah.
They were going to do that anyway.
They
But
were
you didn't have to join in, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
he did.
So Asif, we're all getting I see Asif get we're going home from school. I see Asif get on the bus, and I go right behind him. you know, and I go, hey, Asif, you know, I was a fair fighter. I poke him on the shoulder, and I just blast him in the face. His glasses break and fall off. We're like 10 years old, 11 years old. He was a little taller than me. He was like probably like 6 inches taller than me. And he starts crying. And he's like, my parents are going to beat the shit out of me. I got those. If I broke those, come home with broken glasses. He's like, you don't know what's going to happen to me. He doesn't even try to fight me. He just starts crying, picking up his glasses.
Oh, my gosh.
I pick up the glasses, and I hand them to him, and I see him crying up. And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. Right then and there, I was like, be the heel or be the hero.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck being a heel. I was like, this was a lesson. So after that, I just see someone get picked on. I would just fuck them. I would get involved in fights. I wasn't involved. I'd hear someone
see him in public. And you're like, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah, I would see someone just getting. I was like a loner, and I would see someone getting picked on, and I would just punch the bully in the face. They'd be like, thanks, and then they try to thank me, and I was such a loner, and like they would try to thank me, and be like, don't talk to me. And they're like, wait, why?
You're just like you're saying you became schoolyard Batman on top, and I fully believe it. I'm not saying that even as a thing. I think, you know what's awesome is once you've been punched in the face a few times too, it's less of a consequence for it to happen. So if you see these bullies going, and it's like the risk is that you roll up there and this dude kicks your ass too, or just fucks with you too. But it's like, well, the worst thing you're gonna do is punch me in the face and it'll be sore or whatever. I'm gonna beat your ass. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's really how many hits can you take? You know what I mean?
I feel like wrestling has taught me I can take a freaking lot of hits, dude.
Yeah.
I can get my ass beat pretty severely and still do the finish of the match.
Yeah.
Like I'll still get to that part.
It's how do you operate when you're out of it?
You've done some crazy like deathmatch hardcore stuff in wrestling though too. Is there something I always ask like deathmatch guys on here who've done it? Is there spots you won't do? Are there spots in wrestling you'd be like, I don't think that's necessary?
So I don't do fire anymore. I was in the burn unit for 3 days.
What spot was this?
It was a no ring show at the Regent. I got advice from someone. I said I never lit my hand on fire. He's like, I'm gonna light my hand on fire and punch you. And I said, well, it'd be cool if we did it as a double down because it was supposed to be a count out anyways. I was like, how about I light my hand too? How much do I put on? He says, I'm gonna douse my hand. So I said, cool. I'm gonna douse my hand too. I said, and it just shakes right off. He said, yeah. So I douse my hand during the thing. I light it up as I see his spark, but his spark doesn't go. So he's sitting there. So I'm like, fuck, man, come on, light your hand up. So
it's still lit.
So I'm just sitting there like this, right? Lighting up. We do the spot, count out. I fucking lay on top of it, put it out pretty quick. I get up and my skin is just hanging off, dude.
No.
Yeah. It was
Do you think like the shock kept you from feeling how bad that was?
Yeah, exactly.
And I've never seen a fire spot like end well recently, and I avoid it like the plague.
Yeah, that's something I won't do.
Because it's like if it goes any way wrong, it really could fuck you up.
Yeah. And I don't really do glass. I've only taken like 3 glass tubes.
Yeah, you're fine with barbed wire though. You do a little.
I don't mind barbed wire. I don't mind chairs and doors.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't mind. There's a lot of things I don't mind. I'll even do glass. Like if you bring it up, I'm not gonna like the real problem is if I'm on a show and there's deathmatch, they're gonna do so much glass in the other match that I can't have like one spot that makes it good or whatever, or like one big pain or something. Where like I would be down for that, but I don't need like 2 minutes into the match we're doing pains. I talked about it the other day. Have you done carpet strips?
Hell no.
They're nightmare.
Yeah, I wouldn't do them
because they're so sharp, and when they get in you, if you pull them.
Yeah, it looks like
that's crazy.
Yeah. I'm trying to tell stories, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I feel like the best spots I've seen you do are like with trash cans and chairs and stuff that are like there's a creativity to it, and they're like Rob shit's always in a fight in the wrestling ring. Like I can tell you're in a match, but there's a similarity that we kind of have too of like I tell people I'm not a comedy wrestler, I just don't take you seriously. Yeah. Where you're like you kind of are, there's a little bit of a whimsy to it before it gets completely violent. And you're willing to fall on your ass too. And kind of like, if the spot is going to be better and more over, if you look like a fool doing it, it's almost like go for it because it's going to be great.
I think the rainbow of emotions is something that you have to tap into. And a lot of people are afraid to look foolish. And I got nothing to prove. You know what I mean? I'm not, everybody kind of wants to be a tough guy. in wrestling. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to tell stories.
You're an entertainer.
I'm here to
and
entertain.
I think that's what people are there to be entertained.
But just like Terry Funk, he's an entertainer, but he's also, you wouldn't fuck with Terry Funk.
Yeah.
You also know he's a squirrely motherfucker.
You know he's going to give you 2 warnings, and then on the 3rd one, he's going to start thwapping you in the side of the head.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had people be like, "Oh, I thought it was going to be a lot worse wrestling you." You know, I thought,
Dude, I was so pumped the last time we had him. I want to wrestle you all the time.
No, yeah, it's so much fun.
There's the thing where sometimes I'm wrestling people and they're like, here's what I do. And I'm like, okay, well, let me try to make it. But it felt like we kept popping each other about what we should do next. Like you'd say something and I'd be like, let's even go further. Or you'd say, it felt like we were both looking for like, what's the most entertaining thing? And if we would come up with something, we would try to even upgrade it to make it more. And I feel like a lot of wrestlers get stuck in the same old routine. And it's like, same as going to a rock show, same as going to anything. People are there because they want to have a good time. Like, yeah, they're wrestling fans. Yeah, they want to see wrestling. We're doing wrestling, but they want to have a good time. They want to have a fun Friday night. They want to crack a few drinks and watch the crazy wrestling show. And like, there's a lot of instances where being the most uber cool, I'm a gladiator, I'm so tough, I kick out every time, or being that guy is like detrimental to how much fun they're having.
Are you trying to impress the boys in the back, or are you trying to impress the crowd? I'm trying to impress the crowd.
Yeah, the boys did not buy a ticket.
The boys didn't buy a ticket. They're not paying me. I'm not trying to impress them with anything. I'm trying to get the crowd to go on an emotional roller coaster and have them be like, fuck, it ain't funny anymore. Like, I want to take them to like, he tripped and fell over his own feet. But then it's like, oh, he's mad now.
Yeah.
Is he fucking mad now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want them to guess what's going on. And the only way to get them to guess what's going on is take away what they're expecting to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we know indie programming. You can literally sit in the audience and go, here's this spot now.
Yeah.
And I get them to do that, and I go, oh, but he didn't do it.
Wait, he turned it
He turned it on us. Now I'm paying attention.
The expectation shifts.
Now the smartest fan is like, well, I gotta fucking see, when is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Is that it? So it's like that. You always want to keep them You have to have a certain level of violence, and you have to have a certain level of guessing, and you have to have a certain of realism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and a certain level of awareness. Like it's okay to know that these people here. Like, the whole thing is malleable, where, if they have a certain preconceived notion of what a match is going to be or what something's going to be, you can acknowledge with them when it's not, and you can acknowledge with them what you're going to give them. And, I feel like a lot of wrestlers are wrestling in a way where they don't notice that there's, people in the room interacting with them. Like, there's people yelling at you and cheering for you and reacting to things, and it's like, I feel like you're a guy who knows, hey, I can look around the room too while we're in the middle of this and see, hey, if shifting something or doing something slightly different or waiting to do this a little longer is going to make it more. And it's like a lost art that I think with music, with other things, you've just been around so many people that you go like, I know it's going to make a room tick. I know it's going to make people get fired up.
Well, sitting on the street panhandling for years is the best psychology.
The ultimate kayfabe
is the best experiment on psychology ever. Someone's walking down with you with his girlfriend. How am I going to get $1 out of this guy? You got to be witty. You got to be timing. You have to be cunning. You have to be direct. You have to be heard.
Funny as heck.
And,
cute.
And from doing that at a young age, of riding freight trains around and panhandling, man, I just learned how to read people like this, and also living in terrible neighborhoods and learning, hey, these guys are gonna fuck with me. How do I gotta act when I walk by you? So when I get in the ring and I see the audience, I'm not a dick, but I also go like this. In my mind, I tell myself, I'm like, I'm better than all these people, and I know what's up. And I only tell myself
show
that.
Them because they came here with the expectation of, we're going to see people who are doing a skill, doing a thing that exactly. I can't just do.
Once you remove the nervous, I don't get nervous before I go out.
Yeah, you're not getting there's guys I see have full panic attacks.
I'm not afraid of what the people think. And that's what I mean by that, or what could happen. And any mistake, I don't fear mistakes, because mistakes open up every setback as a new setup. So I also, the blatantly obvious shit that happens, if I miss and he punches and I go like this, hey, he didn't even hit me. Call that out.
Yeah.
Say that. Don't go through the motions.
Don't treat them like they're dumber than you.
Yeah,
exactly,
they're dude.
You can know better than them because you're the professional, but they're not dumber than you.
Yeah.
I like setting things up where people will be like, this is so dumb. Like, the setup of it will be something so dumb, and then doing that twist where you're like, and now I'm hitting a perfect suplex, and now I'm doing this, and now I'm like doing a bridge pin that's unbelievable, but the setup of it was like this is pretty stupid, right? And then you can turn them in the other direction to go, oh, it's magic.
And this is my ideology, and it sounds like your ideology too.
Well,
and it's not that I don't know better than anyone. I've only been doing this 6 years almost, and I'm just reading the room, reading the show, reading the card, and not trying to portray that I'm the toughest guy in the room. I'm trying to portray that I'm the most entertaining guy in the room. You know what I mean? I'm using wrestling as
I think when
art.
you talk about reading people, it kind of makes sense with everything. And reading people is not a bad thing. But wrestling has, in a way, turned into this thing that's like, because it has such history and because there's so much footage you can go back on and so many years of superstars and statistics and data that people are expected to know that. And the more I kind of get in front of people and I do wrestling, but I do it in a way that doesn't have to be derivative of all the wrestling I've seen or doesn't have to fit a certain mold of wrestling, but is there of like, when I see a band, I know they're going to open with a really sick song and then they're going to play some more and then they might talk in between and then they might do a cover and they're going to finish with their best song. And to build wrestling matches that way or to build them from a different cloth than just like, I'm replicating this Roderick Strong match from 2012, which he did here, and I'm going to do this set of falsies. It's like, no, instead I go, we have 10 minutes together. We have 20 minutes together. What's the most reaction we can get out of these people and the story we can tell with these people? And if that includes me getting dumped through the table or like getting stapled in the face or whatever, then cool. But it also could include a lot of other things that, like, if I'm calling a wrestling match with you and you're like, what moves do you do? And I'm like, so I'm going to work your nipples in this spot. And they think that's not wrestling or they think that's, you know, not where wrestling should be reaching for. It's like the whole wrestling is good and music is good and things are good when the people who are there are enjoying themselves.
Yep. And it's all about the social experiments and what makes people tick. And like I said, I used to panhandle in the streets and read people well. And then also being in a punk rock band that was like, how far can we go? Now, I've done some ridiculous stuff on stages before. I've been chased out of venues with shotguns. Like I said, I've had my
Hold up,
my
let's
vans.
get into this.
Yeah.
This is who's chasing you with a shotgun out of this?
We were at this place called the Dragon's Den in New Orleans, and we all took acid, and I got naked. You know, it was pretty standard at that time to do that.
You didn't poop in anybody's bed.
And I pooped on the stage, and then I see the fucking
at least a solid dumper.
No, it was pre-watery. It was just like right on the ground. And then the dude from the venue pulled out a knife. No, he pulled out a taser.
Okay.
And he starts going in between the song. He's like, "Get the fuck off the stage!" So I pulled out a knife and I put it to my throat and I said, "Come fucking put it in, motherfucker!" And then he pulled out a gun and I said, "Touche, have a good fucking night." And I got out.
And you got out of there.
And then my buddy had to clean it up. He was really pissed off about that.
I threw up under a ring one time, and the promoter didn't even believe me, but like, I was like, hey, I threw up like 3 times during that scramble under there, and I didn't throw up on any of your equipment. And I got to the back, and they were like, don't worry about it. Like, whatever. We hope you feel okay. And I went out there, and the guy was starting to mop it. Yeah. And I just kept handing him 5 Canadian money, being like, I'm so sorry, dude. Yeah. I'm so sorry this happened, and you have to clean this up. And then he ended up being the one who took me to the airport in the morning anyway. So I was like, I'm glad I kept this guy happy. Or he would have just ditched me and been like, this little vomit loser.
But like, we toured, all over the country. We toured Europe. We toured Mexico, Canada, and it was always. We would always try to get a reaction from the audience, and
this
the reaction,
Bucket Flush?
Yeah, Bucket Flush.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
The reaction was never, hey, let's show how crazy we are. We were kind of like, let's show how charming we are and how far we could push the envelope. I mean, my guitar player would piss on me when I wasn't looking, or we would fight on stage, like legit. I'd be like,
people know the shows were gonna get crazy? Like, did the reputation?
Yeah, the reputation was there. Yeah. And people, I mean, there would be the one tough guy who always wants to come and test me. Yeah. And then I'd be singing. I know he's behind me, and I'd go like, la, and I'd punch him in the face, and then he'd get all angry, and I'd be like, whoa, what are you trying to get angry for? Then he turns around, and my guitar player is kneeled behind him, and I'd push him over, and then like we're trying to just make it all play off. And like
were there days you were just like, everybody chill out for one day? It sounds chaotic.
Well, the band was chaos as well. A lot of we had games where we would we'd play beer scramble where we'd get beer and then just pull it open because everyone's sick of me drinking all the beer. So pull the case open and you had to grab as many beers as you could.
To keep them from Rob.
To keep them from, or like punch to the right game where, we'd be all in a circle and be like, oh shit, here. If we were all in a circle, everyone had to punch to the right. It was like without saying anything. We'd be like, oh shit, everyone's in a circle.
And you just start getting punches in a circle?
So, we would just have black eyes and then... It was just that kind of.
That's crazy. I think I should do that at a seminar. Just be like, do like a drill, and then be like, all right, punch the person to your right in the face, and they're like, what? It's like, bonked. That's great. What a. But does that? Yeah, I would get tired of that quick. I gotta say, I'm like a little bit of a bitch.
Dudes would only do 2 years in the band.
Yeah, and
it
then
was
they'd be
literally
like, we're
2
out
years, and then they would like either quit playing music or they would just
like,
on peace
I
and
found
quiet.
a family to be a part of. Now I'm leaving and I'm running away.
Yeah,
they've gone too far in the direction.
It was not an easy band to be a part of, and also like all sorts of crazy shit would happen. We were in Europe drinking with these.
I was gonna say, what's your favorite spots in Europe? Because there's some wild stuff over there.
Yeah,
that's an old land of like secrets.
Yeah, we were actually in Budapest, and we didn't have a show that day.
Budapest.
Yeah, and fucking, we were just drinking with these crusty punks that were like 15, 16 years old on the streets, and we slept in the subways or didn't sleep at all and walked around town. We're leaving in the van out of town, and we see one of the guys getting jumped by this, like, no joke, like Nazi fascist group. They had like all the same jackets on, these little patches on.
They're just like roaming the streets.
Just roaming the streets, and they were robbing the dude. Like, we were literally driving out of town, and I was passed out, and my buddy's like, I woke up then and like, yo, get him. And I was like, why are all the boys angry? They open up the side door, and I just ran out and I punched 3 of them out. Boom, boom, boom. And then my buddies were like,
That's
what
awesome.
do we do? They just started kicking him, and then the guys tried running away from me, and I grabbed his jacket off, and then the cops came. I had a beer in my hand the whole time too, and then the cops came.
So you're just having a sip and throwing them.
Yeah, and then I put the jacket over my beer, and I was like, put the jacket down, and I was like, hey, we don't want any problem, and they're like, what happened? And the crust punk kid was like, they came out and saved me while I was getting jumped, and they were like, just get out of our country immediately. And we were like, all right, I'll never see us again. You know what I mean? So it's like, we were just doing, that was the vibe of the band. Everybody was kind of all for one.
Yeah,
like
you got to be a gang with your crew on the road, especially a foreign land. You got to know your people have your back.
Yeah.
Because stuff can get hairy that you don't even understand.
Oh, yeah, they tried kidnapping our guitar player, the cops. My buddy Dean, he said that he smoked. They were like, is there any drugs in the car? Did you smoke any drugs? And he's like, I smoked weed 3 days ago, and they pulled us all out.
Why would you say that?
I know.
Guys, unless you're smoking weed or have it with you, no one needs to know what you did any time previous to that exact moment.
So they brought this Laura Croft cop out, and she's like, just tell me where the drugs are. I was like, you're not going to fool me. And
they brought the hot cop. That's like a thing they do over there where they know like men will be nicer to these women in public. Yeah. And it works every time, I'm pretty sure.
And they fucking were like, we're taking him. And I literally grabbed them. I was like, no, you're not taking him nowhere. And then we were fighting over my friend. My buddy's like, dude, just let him take me. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then
you're like doing a pull apart.
Yeah,
You're doing a pull apart with the cops.
And like arguing with them. And then they took Dean, and we had to get 600 euros to get him out for nothing, dude.
Just because they knew they could get 600 euros out of you. Which it's like, I understand the scam. Like, I enjoy the scam a little bit. What about Canada? What's your favorite place in Canada? I love it. I'm such a fan. I love Winnipeg. I love Edmonton. I love Vancouver.
I had
Vancouver's
a good time
crazy.
in
Montreal.
I mainly just would go to the towns and get party and then leave. So it's
you were like
it's like a blur, you know what I mean?
I get that.
I got denied from Canada 3 or 4 times, and then when we went up there with Circle 6, they ran through everybody's ID, and they were like, all right, everybody's good to go except who's Robert McKnight? And I was like, oh my God, dude, what now? And they're like, they pulled me out to the side separately, and I was like, what did I do? They're like, I have no idea. They just saw my record.
And they just said we have to do some.
And then we just
here.
yeah.
One time I was going through the border with Mance, and in the back seat was like one wrestler was asleep, and Maki Ito and Jimmy Lloyd. Well, Maki's on a visa and doesn't like speak English, and is going from visa in Japan to Canada, and me and Mance look like we're kidnapping this young Japanese girl. And then as we get up to the border, Jimmy's like, "Give him this," and I was like, "What?" And it's just like this little folded sheet that's basically like James is allowed to enter the country again.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what the? And so I'm at the border going,
Permission.
so he's legally allowed to come, and she's on a visa and doesn't speak much English. The fact that we got through that border says something about our charm, because I would have thought there was some dark-sided stuff going on when the three like scarred up dudes leaving Detroit with the small Japanese girl. And one of them has a sheet from the court saying he can come, are trying to get across the border. And I'm only there because I want to cut the time across because I don't want to go all the way around Ohio.
Oh yeah.
It seems like the border can go from 0 to 100 real quick.
Oh yeah.
And if you have a little bit, if you can read people a little bit, I think that helps a lot.
Yeah.
But I think being in a band and touring like that, you start to like realize there's so many different people all over the world. Not even just like, oh, some people are crusty or some people are regular jobs. Like people in Budapest or people in England or people in Belgium, and you're like, they're living an entirely, completely different life than me. And it makes you sort of go, there's like a trillion ways to live. There's a trillion ways to do things.
Yeah.
And if it works for you, good. But I think it's magic that you want to try it at least.
Yeah.
I
gotta use the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, to use the bathroom. I'm going to go in a completely different direction for a second.
Yeah.
Someone we both know, Juicy Finale. That clip where he sat on you. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So how does that feel? Because he's someone who... I've had matches with him, and it's always been very safe and wonderful and great. But I've also seen moments where I'm like, I don't know how this is working because I thought you died.
Yeah, my back went everything like cracked.
So you think it kind of reset everything?
Yeah.
I was more worried about like the chest and sternum. I'm gonna have Mike look this clip up, who does our clip editing, and be able to show this. Is that the scariest time, or has there been a time in wrestling where you're like, oh, I think I might be dying?
No, that wasn't it. Probably the hand on fire. I spent 3 days in the burn unit.
Worse than being sat on, like you're actually like, Juicy fixed my spine.
Yeah. The burn unit, dude. Every time my heart beat, it felt like someone was crushing my hand. They shot me up with fentanyl, ketamine, and the Dilaudid, and I was still standing there like, I need something else, and they were like, brother, you should be
nothing else.
They're like, we legally
You're
can't
walking on a dream, brother.
Yeah. They're like, you should be passed out right now and dead. And I was like, well, guess what? It still hurts like motherfuckers. So they had to actually put me under. They had to like knock me out,
fully knock
and
you
cut
out.
all the skin off of me. You could still tell a little bit, but
Yeah, but I think it probably made your hand tougher.
it made my hand look aged.
Now, was the scissor tattoo previous or after?
No, that's been there since.
That's been there.
Scabs,
so it's been through
Scabs gave me the scissor tattoo. Cut it out.
Cut it out. I love it. Can we talk for a second about someone else we knew from wrestling? I'm just going to bring people up.
Yeah.
And I want to do this so respectfully. Sabu.
Oh, dude.
Dude, hanging around with Sabu after watching him my whole life.
Yeah.
And like, I had been on a few shows with him in Georgia when he was doing indies, when Super Genie was still with him and around and alive.
Yeah.
And I had known him since maybe 2016 or 17, probably end of 2016. I was working some shows with him. And then to get to like hang out with him as a person and like going to Nerd Bar and going to places, what's that like for you? Was it like kind of, does it blow your mind at first, or have you met enough like kind of famous people that you're like, this is cool, but also like, because it kind of was blowing my mind the first
There's
few times.
wrestlers where you meet, you're like, holy fuck. Rob Van Dam.
I
got to meet him. I was like, there he is. I was like, this is
and
unreal.
He looks so good.
He looks incredible.
His wife looks incredible.
His posture is insane.
His physique is still insane.
He's insane. And he still can go.
And his wife is beautiful. They just had those twins.
The
Sabu.
Congratulations to them. That's incredible.
Congratulations to RVD.
Incredible.
It's hanging out with these guys that were like on TV and on this. It's like, it blows my mind kind of that we get to be around them. Can I tell you a Sabu story real quick?
Sure, please.
This is incredible. So we were doing a show in Detroit, and Sabu was there, and Matthew Justice was upstairs. There were a lot of us upstairs at that. Have you done Harpo's?
No, I never was in Detroit.
Somebody's got to get you to Harpo's. I missed the last one, so maybe the next one we both go to it.
Sure.
And Sabu was there, and like, if you know Matthew Justice, Sabu's like everybody ECW is kind of like, he's sort of the amalgamation of everything ECW is still going.
Learned the most from Matt Justice about hardcore wrestling.
Yeah, and
he took me on a ride, and I was like, well, this is what it's supposed to feel like.
He's also the most badass because he had that like when when NXT was the Florida Championship Wrestling FCW.
Yeah.
He walked out on him, and so like he knows all those guys. When I wrestled Jinder Mahal, he was like, I haven't seen Jinder since I walked out of NXT. You think it will be cool? And they were totally cool. But we're up there, and Sabu knew me from Georgia, and so we were talking like he knew me, and he meant no like disrespect by it, but the way he put it, he was just sort of like, look, kid, he's like, you can really work, you're really good, you don't need to do all that gay stuff all the time. And he wasn't like trying to be, I don't think he was trying to be but he's just, Sabu says what Sabu says.
Yeah.
And Justice goes, you don't know what you're talking about, Sabu. And then was like, Effy's as raw and real as it gets. He's punk rock. He's the real deal out here. He's the new ECW, and he's going against the grain with everything. And I don't think you understand that when he steps out there and does the gay stuff, he's making 100 new people come to our shows every time because they want to see it, and they never knew this cool stuff existed.
Yeah.
And from then on,
It's tapping into a new market, dude.
Sabu was like, had so much respect for me and always checked in with me and always would.
That's
when I
great.
wrestled Jimmy Lloyd in the no rope barbed wire match, he pulled me to the side and he goes, because Jimmy was like, you should do
In
it.
Vegas.
It's my birthday. Yeah, it's my birthday. We promised a death match. We can't do glass. And I was like, he was like, Sabu's here too. Like, it's legendary. And he goes, you should do it. It's good. He goes, but remember, barbed wire don't work, kid. And I was like, yeah. Barbed wire don't work. Boy, was he right. I shred my whole fucking back up on that thing. You were there, right?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah,
Shred my whole back up. You've worked with Santana Jackson a bunch too, right?
I've worked with him a few times. Yeah. I don't
that's
think we've
my-
ever had a one-on-one.
Really?
I'm trying to think. No. Which
We
would
got
be
to have
so
multiple
much fun.
one-on-ones, and I just imagine a match with you two being the most entertaining and the most fun. The GCW run has been incredible. You've gotten to be in there with a lot of wild people. Is there anybody in wrestling where you ended up kind of in a situation or in the ring with that you maybe wouldn't have thought you would?
Oh,
Like, as a
dude,
wrestling
Shane
fan?
Douglas.
Dude.
Brett put me in with Shane Douglas at
So
this
incredible.
clusterfuck,
Yeah.
and that was fucking unreal. I was
He's
like,
a
what
wild
the
dude where
fuck?
like there's plenty of stuff we disagree on, but I just want to hear him talk about all the crazy stuff and like what he thinks and knows. And also this is what people forget is like when they're telling you to talk to these guys and try to learn from them, like they've been through every bullshit situation. So they know when it's a scam. They know when it's like he knows how to he's been around wrestling and it's like magic that he's
Oh,
still
dude.
out here doing it. Love of the game.
Yeah,
stuff.
that was him and Jason. I went and did a thing with where I came out and got to light them up, and then which was cool. Punch.
Yeah.
punch, you know what I mean? And then I was like, Shane, grab my hair and slap me around like a dog, like a little kid, like
Yeah,
I'm
you can
trying to
have
be
it.
tough, and like he grabs my hair and just starts painting brushing me, and I was like a bet, like, look, what are you
So
doing,
sick.
kid? Like, what are you doing, kid? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
how
you're
dare
fucking-
you come in
he
here?
doesn't have to do any big move or hit me, just grab me by the hair and
Yeah.
running me around and slapping
And
me
you're
around.
gonna sound like a crazy man.
Yeah. Like, stop, please, stop.
It
you
is
know,
fun.
like I'm the little kid, you know.
I
what
want to
mean?
get to that era where you just kind of can show up and the people are like, we can't wait to bump for you. I'm getting to that a little bit with some guys, but
Yeah.
usually when they're like, it's so exciting to be in the ring with you, I give them even more because I'm like, oh, like, I want to give them the match of their lifetime versus
Yeah.
like, the attitude should be like when you're around these older guys, like, I'm going to make you look like $1 trillion.
Dude, what else are you supposed to do? I want to,
You know, you get footage with these guys that you've grown up watching and been around, and it's like, no, let me make you look so awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
You
That
know,
was
that's-
all my concern was how do I make Shane Douglas and Jason look like, the fucking who they are, the legends that they are, and not go in there and be like, I'm gonna do this and that. And it's like, I was like, the fact that they let me go in there and even get some on them, I was
Yeah.
like, that's a fucking honor.
Yeah, get to even be a part of it. Yeah, hit your shit a little bit, kid.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What do you think the future holds? What do you think? I think our country's in a weird place, but I think like I'm really excited for what's coming and people are fired up. And I think if anybody has an idea about like what people are going to be moving towards,
I think
you're on the forefront, dude.
Yeah, just everything is always going to be fucked up, and everything's
Okay.
always going to be great, and everything is perception and how you perceive it, and what your core beliefs are. As far as just like, you got to think about not just me and my partners and my friends and my what I like. You got to think about everyone as a whole, and people just got to take that into consideration and say, I grew up with agree to disagree. Think whatever you want. It doesn't bother me. I think people got too many opinions that don't matter because nobody's fucking opinion matters. I think people.
Yeah.
There's too much talking, not enough walking. And
That's
it's
what I
just
was
like,
going to say is like there's so much stuff I disagree with, so much stuff that I'm against, but it's like the only thing I can do is what I want, what I believe is the right thing, or what I think is the right.
Exactly.
And hopefully that shows people to follow the example or do better. But sitting around worrying about this person did this person did that. Oh, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? It's like, I've never found it productive in my life versus going, well, I wouldn't do it that way. And I don't think that's good. And I may like bemoan it somewhat, but it's also like, what are you doing?
Yeah. What are you doing?
What are you bringing to the
exactly.
potluck?
Yeah.
What
exactly.
are you adding to the conversation?
The higher ups, their goal is the people we don't even know is to divide and conquer. The more you let them win the divide and conquer, they're gonna win. They're gonna divide us, and the less we get divided,
they're gonna find new ways to keep dividing.
It's okay to have tough conversations, and it's okay to have different opinions. I don't understand what. I grew up in the late '90s where you had to earn someone's respect to care about their opinion.
Yeah.
Now you don't even know people, and they're giving you their opinion. And
I'll
who
see
gives a
people
fuck what they say?
tweet at someone, and they'll send it to me and be like, "Can you believe this person's talking shit or whatever?"
Who
and I go,
gives a fuck
"You've
what that
never
person
met
thinks?"
this person.
Yeah.
You don't know this person. They don't even have a real picture of themselves on here. Why would I even give that acknowledgement? Why would I even give that when I can just go out and do what I'm going to do?"
When someone in the street yells, "Yo," I don't turn around. My name ain't fucking Yo. I don't know you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
This way, and I ain't gonna give you my fucking time of day until you've earned it.
They haven't learned to read you as well. They were giving you the time of day. You knew how to get them to give you a little attention.
Nobody fucking yells "Yo" and says anything productive. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
So it's just like I just think the more that people stop smelling their own shit and start focusing on themselves, that's when we're gonna make progress.
Yeah, people do live in their own head a lot on a lot of things, but I think music, wrestling, all these things, what brings the people together, that's what we've got to focus on. And sometimes it's having a good time, and then sometimes slipping the message in or slipping whatever in. But there's a time and a place for everything, and sometimes you're just at the wrestling show.
I just think religion and politics need to stay out of entertainment. I'm not here to get your opinion.
I think that's
on
a hopeful
shit.
view,
Yeah.
but I think it's also like by believing that, you're not going like, oh, well, you guys don't need to put that here. You're saying the version I'm going to give you is just like here for wrestling and entertainment, and I'm going to live my life and follow the path I'm doing. But it's also like, you're not going in front of these people trying to convince them of something. I am, though. I'll convince people of anything. I'm going in front. It's the gay revolution, brother.
And then you do what you do.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I just don't. I don't talk on Twitter. I barely go on Twitter.
But I'm
not here for open. Here's the thing.
I'm
not here for open dialogue on Twitter or public platforms with people I don't know. This is what I like, hanging out and talk with you right now.
That I can do the version of things I want to do, than worry about someone else's show not matching up or aligning to everything I agree or stand for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's you drawing the line in the sand and worrying about everyone else's. It's not that these people's complaints aren't valid sometimes. Their complaints can be very valid, but they're not doing anything to solve the problem or to create something where you go, hey, I don't like that person or what they're doing or how they're doing it. And you go, okay, so what are you doing? And they're like, nothing. I just want to complain about this person not doing what I would do.
Everybody wants to compartmentalize into somebody, into a group, in a category, and for a generation, the new generation, obsessed with identity, they kind of have no identity. They're so obsessed with identity in so many different facets.
Being perceived as a certain thing where they're almost fighting against it, where I'm like, I don't really care how you perceive me. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Your perception of me is something I cannot control. If you want to talk bad about me, I cannot control that. If you want to think I'm a piece of shit, I cannot control it. But I can't control what I'm doing every day.
Control is what is in front of you. My goal is to sell T-shirts, get bookings, and get as much TV time as I can, and tell the stories with the characters that I'm involved with. That's it. That's my goal.
And that's the most fun.
That's the most fun. That keeps it.
I'm
not trying to push away 50% of my audience, and I'm trying to have 100% of the audience that's into wrestling enjoy me. That's why I don't speak on the internet. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't really do podcasts. Okay. I came into this.
And we may disagree a little bit with this. We're like, I will talk about certain stuff in public, but I'm also like,
I wouldn't even know that because I don't read it.
But listen. There's also this sense of like, why are people thinking that pro wrestlers need to be their be all tell all on exactly what to think or believe? Or like, if people are like, why isn't the pro wrestler tweeting every one of my political things that they should be agreeing with? Why aren't they highlighting all? And I'm going, y'all, this is the the entertainment fighters are not always the people you need to seek for that information.
Yeah.
You should go to your local congressperson and find out what they're voting on and doing if that's your concern. But being like, Big Bubba Baby Smasher wasn't retweeting this thing, and I think he's pro-choice or pro-life or whatever. Like it's very odd to me that there's such a large portion of the people that will hang on something or be like, this person, how can you work a show with this person if you do that? And then you're going, listen, baby, I was hired to do like a job that's 8 minutes of the circus. Like I can't be worried if the lion trainer like has an issue with someone because they used to date them at the show and they're a piece of shit and they locked me out of my house one night. And I'm going,
God,
I know, but like,
dude.
I can't know all of it. All I can do is output what I think is the right thing.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not trying to support pieces of shit. I'm not trying to platform any pieces of shit, but I'm sort of going like, guys, the energy could be put into things that matter.
So much more.
And, when I get home on Sunday, maybe I'm going to go help in my community or maybe I'm going to go donate money to someone or help someone's GoFundMe. But also like, I don't know how you can see one of our matches and be like, we got to make sure they're on board with everything I believe in.
Yeah, and who the fuck wants to hang around someone where you think exactly like the other person?
Or the prerequisite of being able to entertain you is that I'm up to date on every social issue that you possibly can imagine. I'm just I like the way you were putting it of like, if I see somebody bullying somebody, I'm gonna beat their ass, and that's like the way we should do it, which is like stop preconceiving something's gonna happen, or because of something, like you shouldn't be able to have a show because of, I don't know. This isn't trying to turn into some weird like cancel culture is dead. It's more just like, hey guys, if we were more about the action than just like feeling we needed to say everything all the time, it would be a lot more effective.
Sure.
I'm big on action. I'm big on like, stop asking me why the pie is a pumpkin pie when you could be baking a pie. If you want chocolate fudge pie, and you think other people would too, you should bake a chocolate fudge pie and give people a slice. But you can't come to my house and be like, pumpkin pie is not actually good. And I go, so that's the pie I have. You're not getting any pie.
Yeah.
Like it's very, are we big brained on it? I think we've done some wonderful things here. I think we should have you back eventually.
Yeah, dude.
But I'm so pumped you're here in Atlanta. I'm so pumped we get to be on the same show tomorrow.
Yeah.
And hang out.
Well, I don't know if I'm on the show.
You're going to be
invited
around.
there. Yeah.
You're going to be around.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm not, this is going to come out later than the show. I'm trying to do this thing where like, I never have to tell you I'm swinging my dick, but I swing it a little just to see metaphorically like what gets done. So like, I don't know, there's a lot of my crew in the building tomorrow and I think they're impressive and wonderful. And I think in a chaotic show, let's give some things a try. Right now, that company, they should give some things a try. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, they're not in a position where it's like everything's smooth sailing. And I think we get to come in and go, look, let me give you a little taste of this.
Yeah.
I hope it works out. I hope it works
me too.
well. We're gonna see how it goes. Thank you, Rob Shit.
Dude,
you're the fucking man.
thank you, Effy.
I'm gonna do the intro now.
Love you, bud.
Love you. I love you. This is great.
Yeah.
There's so much more we could talk about, but I also am like, I know my mom's gonna listen, so we have to be a little sweet.
Oh shit.
No, it's great. She loves it. I told her not to listen to the one with Keita Murray because it was
All of Keita.
I was like, we're just talking about porn the whole time.